Chapter 48:22 Long Chen and Emon Yen quietly left the academy. Emon Yen took out two hidden interest symbols. These two symbols and seal characters have turned yellow and have the smell of ancient times. At first glance, they are not modern products. Needless to say, this thing was dug out by Emon Yen from somewhere. According to Emon Yen, this hidden breath symbol can not only hide the breath, but also shield the perception of heaven and chi, so that they can avoid the peeping of Brahma and Dangu. Brother, I didn't say you. You're not doing well now. Just entering the Emperor's heaven, you were targeted by all kinds of people. You didn't kill a corpse everywhere in front of the gate of 9 days. This is not your style? They talked while walking, and Emon Yen had to heal his wounds, so they couldn't walk quickly. After Emon Yen was cursed, he thought of Long Chen at the first time. Originally, he wanted to go to the General Hospital of Lingshao Academy to find Long Chen. Fortunately, Long Chen has come to the Emperor's heaven. If Long Chen was not in the Emperor's heaven, Emon Yen didn't know whether he could hold on to seeing Long Chen. After Emo read the curse, he galloped all the way and heard someone say the name of Dragon Dust. As a result, when asked, the other party turned out to be those who aimed at Dragon Dust. Emon Yen was rude and searched the soul directly. Then he learned that Long Chen had arrived at the Emperor's heaven. After much inquiry, he learned the foothold of Lingshao Academy. As a result, he arrived at the foothold. Long Chen and others had arrived at a new stronghold. Along the way, it was very hard to catch up with Emon Yen. Fortunately, when he was out of support, he rushed to Long Chen. You don't think that's my style either? Dragon Dust was stunned. Of course, in those days, our brothers were invincible across the world. People stopped killing people and gods stopped killing gods. How arrogant. I don't understand. You obviously have a chance to hurt the killer, but you seem to have some scruples. Leave room everywhere. This is really not your style at the beginning. I remember you said before, you will never let go of anyone who wants your life, whether he is a good man or a bad man. Emon Yen said. Did I say that? Dragon Dust asked. Of course, I don't care whether you can deprive the good or the bad in the world. Emon Yen stared and said, What's the situation? You've forgotten all this? You shouldn't have been robbed? Hey, I ask you, where did we meet for the first time? All right, bullshit. Dragon Dust was not angry and said, If I am taken away, I will fight my life to save you. But with your big face? That's true. Emon Yen nodded and then said angrily, What's my big face? It's a handsome big face, okay? Emon Yen doesn't care about anything else, but if someone says he has a big face, he will be very upset. After all, his face is really a little big. Emon Yen, to tell you the truth, I'm trapped by a heart demon now. Dragon Dust couldn't help sighing. This is the secret of Long Chen. Long Chen has never told others about this secret, but for Emon Yen he said it, not that he doesn't trust others, but that others are unable to help him share it, which will make them worry about themselves. But Emon Yen is different. For Emon Yen, Long Chen has absolute trust and inexplicable confidence in Emon Yen. Heart Devil? Emon Yen was surprised. He couldn't imagine that there were demons as strong as Dragon Dust. Long Chen didn't hide it, so he told Emon Yen all kinds of entanglements between himself and the Heart Devil in detail. After that, Long Chen felt relieved, and the whole person seemed to be much more relaxed. Sometimes I hold a secret in my heart and can't share it with others. Only I can understand the taste of pain. Go. Is that guy so strong? Emon Yen looked shocked. It's a mess, but I still don't know how his strength is improved. Dragon Dust is very upset. I see. Emon Yen looked suddenly enlightened. No wonder you have lost your edge in the past. Your feelings are tortured by demons. In fact, this thing is very simple. Why do you ignore him? If you are destined to be strong, it should be him who worries. If you are not strong enough, sooner or later you will be swallowed up by him, and there is no point in worrying? The Heart Devil is just one of your thousands of enemies. Even if you defeat the Heart Devil now, can you guarantee to defeat every enemy in the future? Even if you can defeat every enemy, can you guarantee that you will never face death and failure? Life is like fireworks. We just need to do our best to bloom our brilliance, no matter when it ends. The words of Emon Yen shocked the heart of Long Chen. He once said that at that moment he was shocked in an instant, and the shackles in his heart were opened in an instant. Haha. Long Chen looked up and laughed. There are self-mockery and gratification in the laughter. People can persuade others, but they can't persuade themselves. They need others to give some advice on the truth they understand. Perhaps this is the reason why those in the game are confused and those on the sidelines are clear. Can the devil be stronger than Brahma? Brahma can't let himself be afraid. Why can a heart demon torture him so much? What a funny thing it is. I feel much more comfortable talking to you. It's nice to have a brother like you. Long Chen patted Emon Yen's shoulder and was excited. Hey, who makes us the best bad friends? However, your evil spirit makes me very curious and gives me a chance to see him. If his character is similar to mine, I don't mind being brothers with him, ha! Emon Yen laughed. If Emon Yen said so before, Long Chen might be very unhappy, but now Long Chen's heart knot has been solved and he doesn't care about this joke at all. By the way, when did you come here? Dragon Dust asked. Emon Yen broke his fingers and said, I can't remember the details because most of the time is spent underground. In some places, the time flow rate is different, so I can't calculate it. Anyway, it's more than half a year, less than a year. They'll go. You're really dedicated. The Dragon Dust was speechless. There's no way. We should have a beginning and an end. We should do everything and love everything. Since we have chosen, we should make it to the extreme. However, don't underestimate me. Now I'm no longer what I used to be. Now I'm also a number one figure in the Emperor's heaven. Although I dare not say I'm powerful, I'm also famous for a time. Emon Yen said proudly. Buzz. While they were talking, Emon Yen suddenly put away the seal characters on them and recovered from their invisibility. It turned out that unconsciously, they had come to an ancient city. When they just appeared, someone saw Emon Yen in front of the city gate. With a look of horror, they obviously recognized Emon Yen. No way, now I want to keep a low profile. Emon Yen expressed helplessness. Emon Yen, who killed thousands of knives, you wicked and smoking bastard, take your life. As a result, after the man was shocked, he immediately killed the sky, took out his weapon and killed Emon Yen. The look of Long Chen's envy turned into amazement in a moment. Is that what you call fame? You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48:23. I'm going to cut off your dog's head today, you bastard who digs graves and has no children. It was a bald man with a height of over Zhang and an unusually strong head. Although he looked the same as the human race, his breath contained strong flame fluctuations, and the fluctuation of qi and blood was different from the human race. It should not be the human race. When he saw Emon Yen, he immediately gnashed his teeth, as if he had seen the enemy who killed his father. He was armed with a battle axe, and the power of destiny broke out. He turned out to be a powerful 9-star destiny. Buzz, the bald-headed man went all out when he made a move. It was obvious that he had been ruthless in Emon Yen, but he also knew the horror of Emon Yen, so his move was the strongest kill. Cut, with your strength, you are not qualified to let me do it. If I move my finger, I will lose. Facing the blow of the bald man, Emon Yen stood with his hands down, and had no intention of stopping. This forced you to pretend, which is unprecedented. Long Chen is also convinced. This guy is still in the healing stage at this time. He has no strength to fight with others. He clearly asked for help, but he said so arrogantly. Pa! The dragon scale appeared on the dragon dust's big hand and grasped the axe with a single palm. With a loud bang, the air billowed. However, the dragon dust was like a rock and was forced to bear the full blow of the bald man. You! The bald man chopped his axe into Long Chen's big hand. He was shocked and his blood surged. He was shocked and angry. Just about to speak, his throat was sweet, and almost a mouthful of blood gushed out. He quickly shut up. Come on. You can't provoke him. Long Chen looked at the bald man and said softly, blaspheme our ancestors' hatred and do not share the same fate. Since you are a gang, I will kill you together. The bald man, with a fierce look on his face, suddenly opened his mouth and a blood arrow burst out. The blood arrow did not hit Long Chen, nor did it rush to Emon Yen. Instead, it sprayed on the giant axe in his hand. When he saw this scene, Long Chen's face became gloomy for a moment, and the blood color on his big hand flowed. Boom! The battle axe was shattered. It was not shocked by the dragon dust, but by the bald man. At the same time, he also blew himself up. He wanted to use his own life and magic weapons to pull the dragon dust and Emon Yen on the road together. Long Chen's big hand was still in the void. Endless blood fog and divine weapon fragments were flying, but it could not hurt him. However, Long Chen's face was very ugly. The benevolence of women brings endless humiliation. You are willing to let him die, but he wants to take you on the road. Although I am not a good man, I have a bottom line in my life, and I have a choice in the tomb I dig. Emon Yampi Pai Mouthway. The meaning of Emon Yen is obvious. Although he often digs tombs, he will find out the situation of the tomb owner before he starts. He knows which tombs can be dug and which cannot. To put it bluntly, the tomb he decided to dig was basically not a good man, and Long Chen showed mercy to that man. In fact, he also distrusted Emon Yen. If he can absolutely trust Emon Yen, he will not be merciful. The move of Long Chen makes Emon Yen very unhappy and even sad. Sorry, brother. Long Chen is also very ashamed. Forget it, one man and two brothers, I'm not so stingy. Besides, the influence of demons on you can't be eliminated in 1 day or 2. Take your time. Emon Yen patted the shoulder of Long Chen. Emon Yen also knows that the current situation of Long Chen is not very good. He has been influenced by the demons for too long. Even if he realizes it at this time, it will take some time to correct it. Only in this way can he gradually find back the old Long Chen. This is an urgent matter. However, I met my enemy before I entered the city. It seems that you haven't been fooling around in vain. Dragon Dust is a little speechless. If you are diligent, you will be more likely to attract people's attention. There is no way. The so-called heaven rewards diligence is probably like this. Emon Yen's stall was a bit helpless. Although his tone was helpless, his expression was quite proud. When the two entered the city, it was an ancient city. It was so shabby that there was not even a big city protection array. There were only a few broken transmission arrays. No one in the city maintains order, let alone collects entrance fees. Emon Yen explained that this is an ownerless city. Because it is attacked by demons from time to time, no one is willing to operate here. This is just a temporary transmission point. When he came to the transmission array, he was charged 200 top chaotic spirit stones by the guards. Hearing the price, Long Chen was shocked and thought it was killed. You know, the best chaotic spirit stone is extremely precious even in the Emperor's heaven. It costs so much money to use a transmission array, which is no different from robbing money. However, Emon Yen is used to it. He pays the transmission fee and walks into the transmission array with Long Chen. At this time, there are 2 men and 1 woman waiting here in the transmission array. When Long Chen and Emon Yen came in, the 3 men glanced at the 2 men, each making a step inward, keeping a certain distance from each other. Obviously, the 3 men did not know each other. Meditation explained to Long Chen that many places here are in a semi-barbaric state. Those who can come here are basically adventurers, and they still take risks with their lives to earn cultivation fees. The cost of establishing transmission array in this ancient city is very high in the early stage. It usually takes decades or even hundreds of years to recover the cost, and then it begins to make a formal profit. However, before making profits, if you are attacked by demons, you will lose all your money. Therefore, the transmission cost is outrageous, which is understandable. To put it bluntly, both the adventurers and the people supporting the transmission array here are licking blood on the blade, so they respect each other very much. If someone really has no money on hand or needs to use the teleport array for urgent affairs, he can charge them. This is done very grandly. After waiting for 2 days, the transmission array was officially opened after 10 people were gathered in the transmission array. When the transmission was completed, Long Chen and others appeared on a barren mountain. Looking around, it was desolate. Even the aura was very thin, the spatial fluctuation was quite chaotic, and the law of heaven was also unstable. However, this is not the destination of emon. The emperor and the devil are rampant here. Many areas are forbidden areas and can't pass through. You have to go around them, so you need to send them many times. Many transfer points are places where demons don't like to stay, and places where demons don't like are basically not suitable for human survival, but it's better to be safe. From the transfer point, Long Chen and emon continue to move to the next transfer point. Fortunately, emon needs to heal and is not in a hurry. Long Chen can also ask emon about the emperor. After continuous transmission, Long Chen found that the passing cities were getting bigger, more prosperous, and more lively. Buzz, when the transmission array lights up and a towering ancient city emerges in front of Long Chen, Rao Shilong is well informed and can't help being shocked by the scene. Emon looked at the unimaginable city ahead. Although it was not his first time here, it was so shocking every time he looked from here. This is one of the 3 largest cities in the territory of the emperor and the people, the demon-subduing city. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48-24. The demon-subduing city is so vast that it is just the tip of the iceberg. Even if the transmission array is tens of thousands of miles away from the demon-subduing city, it is impossible to see its whole picture. Before Long Chen and emon came out of the transmission array, they were pushed out by a gentle force. It turned out that another group of people appeared in the transmission array. The transmission array flickers constantly. Every time it flickers, a large number of people will emerge. Obviously, there are too many people coming to subdue the demon city. In a breath, several waves of people will be transmitted. These people are basically the same as Long Chen. When they see the magnificent demon-subduing city in front of them, they are all dumbfounded. They are completely shocked by the demon-subduing city. The city of subduing demons towered into the clouds, and its walls stood like a huge seal inlaid on the earth. When Long Chen's eyes moved from the city to the bottom of the city, he could not help but breathe a cold breath. Under the ancient city, there was a huge head. The head was so big that it could not be imagined. Half of the head was buried in the soil, and half of it was embedded in the ancient city. Its complete outline could not be seen. The 2,000-mile city gates were its eyes. Rauscher Longchen is brave. Seeing this scene, he can't help trembling. Longchen can't believe it and says, "Is it still alive?" "Of course, otherwise, I won't use the square sky seal to suppress it. I tell you, that square sky seal is a super terrible artifact. If it didn't suppress the devil's head, to tell the truth, I really want to try to steal it." Emon looked at the demon-subduing city and his eyes were full of fire. Fang Tianin is this ancient city. It is an amazing artifact. The specific history cannot be traced back. It is said that it is a terrible and powerful divine weapon in the chaotic era. During the Chaos War, Fang Tianin fought with his master against an extraterrestrial demon and finally died with him. However, the extraterrestrial demon was extremely terrifying. Although it only had a head, its soul was immortal. If given a chance, it would be reborn. Fang Tianin and his master sealed it together. The battle between the two sides has been going on from the chaotic era to the present. In the end, the victory has not been decided. Fang Tianin is still there, and the devil outside the sky has not been destroyed. Long Chen looked at those eyes, and instantly felt the extremely evil and bloodthirsty resentment. This demon-subduing city is also called Fang Tian's demon-subduing city. This is the city of forbidding demons. Anyone with demon blood flowing in his body will be killed by Fang Tianyin as long as he gets close to the city of subduing demons. "Let's go. There's more shocking," Emon explained. At this time, there are already a large number of people around. It is difficult for them to stay in place. With the surging of people/streams, they drift with the waves and walk slowly towards the city gate. There are 2 gates. One gate is unobstructed, but the other gate can't get in and out, and there is a long queue. However, Emon chose the gate with a long queue. "Why don't you take the unobstructed one?" Dragon Dust asked. "I can go through that door, but you can't," Emon proudly said. What do you mean? Dragon Dust asked. Only those who are handsome can go through that door. Of course, I have no problem with my handsome appearance. But you are not handsome enough to brush your face in and out. Emon is serious. Long Chen glanced at Emon with an oblique eye. Just about to mock, there was a puff of laughter. Long Chen turned around and saw that it was actually two women wearing hardcover and carrying long bows behind him. The two women were slim and beautiful. Their tight-fitting clothes showed their exquisite curves at a glance. They were behind them. Long Chen visited the city to experience the shock of the demon-subduing city and did not notice the two beautiful women. The power of destiny on the two women fluctuates very strongly. Although they deliberately cover up, they can't see what level of destiny they are. However, according to the estimation of Long Chen, they should not be lower than the 7 stars. Moreover, their pupils are quite different from those of ordinary people. There is a faint cross line in their pupils, which is a kind of pupil technique. Long Chen once saw someone perform this kind of pupil technique. This kind of pupil technique is used for accurate aiming, and they carry long bows. We know that their archery must be very amazing. Seeing Long Chen and Emon looking at them, the two women were not shy. One woman was very generous and said, "This friend, don't listen to your brother's nonsense. You look much more handsome than him." Well, at least our sisters think so. Long Chen was happy at once. He hadn't met such an interesting person for a long time. Moreover, the two women didn't have any defense against them. They said what they wanted to say. It seems so easy. Hey, what do you two look at? I'm a lot more handsome than him, okay? Believe it or not, I can go through that door directly. How about we make a bet? Let's see if I can brush my face through with my handsome face? Emon was upset and shouted. The woman flipped her lips playfully and said, "Don't fool people. Do you think I'm here for the first time? I'm here to meet people too." The woman turned to look at Long Chen and said, "Only those who have access nameplates can go in and out of the gate freely. Those who come here for the first time need to apply for the demon-subduing nameplates, and then they can go through the gate. This has nothing to do with those who don't have a face." Dragon Chen suddenly realized that he looked at Emon. Emon squinted at the sky and pretended not to hear anything. Long Chen turned to look at the woman and said, No, it doesn't matter. Only a thick-skinned person can say such shameless words." When Long Chen said this, the two women immediately burst into a charming smile. Emon could not pretend any more at this time. He was annoyed and said, "That's boring. I'm just kidding. Why do you expose me? Who told you that you are more handsome than him? My mother taught me to be honest." The woman laughed. Emon was speechless for a while, but he didn't know what to say to refute. Long Chen was afraid of Emon's embarrassment and said, "We are good brothers. We are used to joking with each other. By the way, introduce ourselves. My name is Long Chen. This is Emon. My name is Yutong. This is my sister Yufei. Nice to meet you." The woman smiled generously and stretched out her slender jade hand to Long Chen. Long Chen was stunned. Unexpectedly, this woman would shake hands with him. You know, this action is a little too intimate. Dragon Dust subconsciously shook the woman's hand gently. Originally, this kind of handshake ceremony was very rare, but men and women shook hands, not really, but falsely. In addition, you can't hold the entire palm of the other party. You can only lightly hold the fingertips of the other party to show politeness and respect. If you hold the whole palm, you are suspected of taking advantage. But the woman held the whole hand of Long Chen, and when she held it with both hands, a warm flame rose in Yutong's palm. Long Chen was stunned. The woman seemed to be too generous? After holding Long Chen's hand, the woman suddenly showed a look of ecstasy in her eyes. She stretched out her hands and firmly grasped Long Chen's arm. That appearance startled Long Chen. "After that, we will be a family." The woman suddenly became excited. "Wipe, is that okay?" Emon was so open that he couldn't believe his eyes. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 4825, Miss Yutong, isn't it too fast? Long Chen was also confused. How could this woman be so strange and enthusiastic that Long Chen could not adapt? Look, Yutong loosened Long Chen's big hand and stretched out the back of his snow-white hand. When Long Chen looked at the back of her hand carefully, Long Chen was stunned. What is this? Butterfly rune? Nian also looked and found a colorful pattern on the back of the woman's hand. The pattern is only the size of a soybean and looks like a butterfly, but there is no fluctuation in the pattern. The seal of the Dealing clan? What is your relationship with the Dealing clan? Dragon Chen suddenly realized that no wonder this woman suddenly became so enthusiastic. She had already felt the blessing from the Dealing family on Dragon Chen's hand. We are the people of the Feather Spirit clan and the guardians of the Butterfly Spirit clan. I didn't expect you to be so big and powerful. Yutong looked at Long Chen, his pretty face was full of excitement, and Nian listened, and his mouth was wide open. Hey, what's so big? Please explain clearly, miss. Long Chen is sweating. This sounds weird. It's your blessing mark, look. Yutong holds Long Chen's hand, and the backs of the two hands lean against each other. A color/butterfly slowly emerges on the back of Long Chen's hand. The butterfly mark almost covers the whole back of Long Chen's hand. Well, big, really big. Nian nodded. Get out of here. Dragon Chen is a little annoyed. This guy's expression is too obscene. He must be thinking of something dirty in his head. Your blessing divine pattern is even bigger than our clan leader's divine pattern. It's really powerful. Yutong worships the tunnel. Is there anything particular about this divine pattern? Nian couldn't help asking. Of course, people who have been blessed by the Dealing family are all kind-hearted people with a bright heart. The larger the divine plan, the stronger the power of light and kindness. Yutong rode. Is he bright and kind? Nian pointed to the dragon dust, and his face was unbelievable. Don't point at people with your fingers. It's very impolite. You're not allowed to question people who have butterfly spirit marks. Otherwise, we'll ignore you. Seeing that Nian has a bad attitude, Yutong is a little unhappy. Well, I admit I was wrong. I can question him, but I shouldn't question the Dealing clan. Nian raised his hands to show his surrender, but the words didn't taste right. Seeing Nian's apology, Yutong's flat face immediately beamed with joy. He generously extended his hand and held Nian's hand. That's great. When you get into the city, don't leave. Would you like to come to our Yuling family as a guest? Our princess is in the city. She will be very happy. Nian was stopped by Yutong, and his whole body was frozen. If he was shocked, although Nian looked obscene and his mouth was damaged, it seemed that only his fiancée Luzhenjing was close to him. The sultry man was seized by Yutong, and he became numb. You can even see that the hairs on the back of his neck stood up. That's great. If you don't talk, we'll take it as if you agree. Yufei also clapped her hands excitedly. Long Chen and Nian looked at each other and felt helpless. Originally, Nian had his own plan, but they were so enthusiastic that they refused. What's the matter? Is this estrus? If men are not enough, we have many brothers. We can help you stop itching. At this moment, a few people came from behind the evil laughter. Long Chen and Nian were furious. Turning around, they saw a group of strong men wearing animal skins, who were burly and looked at them provocatively. Brother, it seems that you two are useless. How about our brothers help you? The first one, ignoring their glares, swept around the two sisters, Yutong and Yufei, with a pair of eyes. Long Chen's eyes were cold and murderous. He slowly raised his big hand. At that moment, the two sisters Yutong and Yufei exclaimed, "Dragon dust, don't do it. You can't do it here. When I want to kill people, there is no place where I can't do it." Dragon dust shook his head. Well, let me do it. Suddenly, Nian flashed away, and people flashed like ghosts, making a phantom. Pa. In the continuous ringing, each of the dozen strong men in animal skins was slapped. When he saw the gesture of Nian, Long Chen was stunned. How's it going? Am I good at this? When Yutong and Yufei react, Nian has returned to the original place and looks at Long Chen proudly. Just then, the dozen strong men made a pig-killing cry. Emo Nien made strange and rapid moves. They had no defense at all, because they all knew that it was forbidden to do anything here. But they didn't expect that Emo Nien would actually do it. However, even if they were on guard, they might not be able to avoid this series of slaps. Emo Nien's move imitates Dragon Chen's slap magic. Although the heat is worse, it can hit 100% with strange body methods. The most terrible thing is that Emo Nien just slapped them gently, and each slap was on their mouth, leaving a dark handprint. As soon as the fingerprints were printed, the mouths of these people began to decay rapidly, and black water kept flowing out, which was terrible. "You bastards, you want to die." The leading strong man roared and took out a long staff from nowhere. His blood gushed and he was about to kill Emo Nien. There is a forbidden area in front of the demon-subduing city. Who dares to start? At this moment, a cold cry came, and then 8 guards in silver armor appeared in front of the crowd. Good guy, even the guards are powerful people, and they are also super powerful people. Long Chen looked at these strong men and couldn't help but be a little surprised. People who respect the strong men actually look at the gate. The details of the demon-subduing city are frightening. He did it first. The strong man in animal skin pointed to Emo Nien and roared murderously. Now his lips are almost completely rotten. His gloomy white teeth and his words leak. It's amazing and funny to match his indignant expression. I did it first. That's right. I'm willing to use this thing to relieve my guilt. Emo Nien was confident and fearless. After saying this, he took out a jade plate inlaid with a demon head made of gold. When the city defense garrison saw this nameplate, they couldn't help exclaiming, "Golden Subduing Demon Card." You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48-26. When those Saint-level city guards saw the gold nameplate in Emo Nien's hand, they were surprised. They looked at Emo Nien differently. "Have you killed the Saint-level demon?" A city guard leader took over the nameplate of Emo Nien and checked it carefully. He found that the nameplate was true. He still couldn't believe the tunnel. Yutong looked at the gold nameplate in Qingwei's hand, and the jade hand covered cherry lips. Her eyes were full of unbelievable looks. Dragon Dust doesn't know what the nameplate means, but Yutong knows that the gold nameplate is a symbol of honor in the demon-subduing city. Only those who have killed the heavenly saint-level demon, beheaded the heavenly saint demon and handed it to the demon-subduing city. The demon-subduing city will confirm whether the demon was killed by someone and whether it was helped by others according to the death curse of the demon. That is to say, if someone else is present when killing the heavenly saint-level demon, no matter whether that person has shot or not, it will be considered invalid. Only when the heavenly saint-level demon is killed independently and confirmed will a golden subduing magic card be issued. The golden subduing demon card will be issued only when the heavenly saint-level demon is killed in the divine realm. If the heavenly saint strong person kills the heavenly saint-level demon, there will be no such treatment. This golden subduing demon card, in the subduing demon city, can use all public facilities free of charge, including top cultivation places, testing places, martial arts contests, puppet sparring, etc., and can also enjoy hundreds of free services. With this golden Subdue the Devil card, you can enjoy VIP treatment in almost any consumption place in the city. There are certain discounts when you buy most things. Long Chun didn't understand the importance of the nameplate. He whispered to Yutong secretly. When he learned that it was so important, he was shocked. Emo Nien killed a heavenly saint-level demon independently. It was terrible. Although Long Chen also had the experience of killing the heavenly saint-level demon, the saint-level demon had already fought with Bai Zhantong that day, and the reason why he was able to kill it was because of the joint efforts of all the people. If he is alone, facing the injured demon lord, to tell the truth, he is really not sure. After all, defeating and killing are two different things. When Emo Nien showed the golden magic subduing card, those who had been slapped by Emo Nien were shocked. They didn't expect to be kicked on the iron plate this time. The leader of this group of people also came to pick up people. Naturally, he knew what the golden subduing magic card meant. They were shocked, angry, and upset. How could they be so unlucky that they could encounter such a terrible existence if they flirted casually? It turns out that you have nothing to fear because you have the golden subdued devil card. You ignore the rules of the subdued devil city. What do you do without the golden subdued devil card? When you enter the city, I will let you know how miserable it is to offend our Iron Blood sect. The leader of the group shouted. Facing the man's clamor, Emon said with a smile, "It's the Iron Blood Gate, one of the 4 defenders of the demon-subduing city. No wonder it's so arrogant, but it doesn't matter. I just like to clean up those arrogant people. As for misery? It seems that you are miserable now. To tell you the truth, this is the curse of the corpse demon. Unless there is a strong saint willing to sacrifice 100 years of cultivation to help you get rid of the curse. Otherwise, the flesh on your mouth will never grow out. You will live with your teeth broken and exposed until one day you become a saint of heaven. However, it is not that I despise you. With your talent, I am afraid you will have no hope in your life." You. The leader was shocked and angry. If it is true as Emon said, they will live a silent life in this life. Although they are disciples of the heavenly sect, their talent is only 5-star destiny, not core disciples. Even if they are core disciples, the heavenly sage and the strong will not spend 100 years of cultivation to help them break the curse. Let alone them, even if they are their own children and grandchildren, they may not be happy. Long Chen admires Emon. This guy has a lot of tricks. With Long Chen's character, he will kill these vicious guys who spray feces all over their mouths just now. And Emon move is even more poisonous, so that they will have no lips in the future. It is the best punishment for them to spray feces all over their mouth. It is even more comfortable than killing them. Lord Qingwei, he hurt people maliciously in front of the city gate. Confiscate his golden subduing card. At this time, the man can only vent his anger in this way. The city guard leader glanced at Emon and Longchen. Then he turned and looked at the man coldly. It's obviously your provocation and obscenity. Otherwise, how could the next thing happen? Qingwei, the man was stunned. The leader of the city guard said coldly, "Shut up. Both of you have made mistakes. I'll write this down first. I'll settle accounts with you when I'm free." With that, Qingwei threw the golden subduing demon card to Emon and said in a voice that only a few of them could hear, "Little brother, everyone is a Terran. That's all I can help. It's up to you in the future." After receiving the nameplate, Emon was stunned. He didn't expect that the city guards would turn to him like this. It seems that he doesn't have any friendship with these city guards. You are practicing favoritism. The man roared. Close your mouth quickly. Don't you notice that your teeth are turning black? If you don't concentrate on resisting the curse, your lives will be lost. The city guard sneered. With that, he looked around and shouted coldly, "Everyone listen. When you come to the demon-subduing city, you must abide by the rules of the demon-subduing city. If you dare to make trouble with people again, you will be severely punished." The city guard then disappeared with people, leaving a blank face of Emon and others, as well as the indignant group of guys who covered their mouths and howled bitterly. The strong people around all looked at this scene with a dull face, and did not know what had happened. However, the city guard's preference for Longchen and others was so obvious that as long as they were not blind, they could see it. For a moment, everyone's eyes fell on Emon, and they were speculating about the origin of Emon. They all looked in awe. It was obvious that this golden magic subduing card was too powerful. Hey, can you stop shouting so loudly? Where's your previous arrogance? If you scream again, believe it or not, I'll dig a cesspit and bury you in it? Emon was enjoying the fierce eyes of the people around him, but he was furious when he listened to the crowd screaming in pain. There's something wrong with that. You can dig a pit if you dig it. How can you dig a cesspit? Dragon Dust asked. After digging the pit, you and I will take a dip in shit, and the pit will come out? Emon has some wordless words. Well, you won. Dragon Dust is also speechless. You. Wait for me. The group gnawed their teeth, but they dared not continue to provoke them. Forget it. Don't pay attention to them. There's no need to be angry with them. Hey, I can't see that you are so wretched. You are so powerful. Yutong recovers from the shock and looks at Emo Nyen in an incredible way. Personally, I think it would be perfect to remove the penultimate sentence. Emo reads the first mock examination's nose seriously. Emo Nyen's words provoked the two sisters Yutong to laugh, and it was their turn to handle the nameplate soon. Long Chen just announced his name and painted a unique rune of his own. He only needed a drop of blood to complete the nameplate binding. Wait. At this time, a group of people came and rushed forward. Long Chen turned around and saw that it was a group of strong men who were also wearing city guard clothes. When those who provoked dragon dust saw the city guards, they were ecstatic, and their eyes were full of ferocity. You'll see how you die this time. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48-27, Blood Clan. When he saw the strong men wearing the clothes of the city guards, Long Chen's eyes narrowed slightly. He never thought that he had met the people of the Blood Clan here, and the people of the Blood Clan were still wearing the clothes of the city guards. Iron Blood Clan? Blood Clan? It's interesting this time. There was a strange color on Long Chen's face. However, there was a cold and murderous look in his eyes. The Blood Clan, whether in Tianwu or in the fairy world, has always been the enemy of dragon dust. That kind of disgust and rejection has been deeply etched into the bones. Once you see them, you want to kill them. Don't be afraid of them, but don't kill them. They want to play. Let's just play with them. Anyway, you and I are good at both writing and martial arts. What's the fear? Emo Nyen said with a smile. Long Chen did not speak, so he looked at the group of city guards coming. The group of city guards had 8 people in total. The first one was full of blood and awe-inspiring. They were all strong men of the saint level. They came in a murderous manner and immediately startled the people around them. Looking at the expressions of the disciples of the Iron Blood sect, they scattered around to make room for a large area. As long as they are not fools, they know that the 8 city guards must be asking for trouble from Long Chen and Emo Nyen. They all want to stay away from each other so as not to die soon. Dragon Chen was about to drop his blood on the nameplate. As a result, the person responsible for issuing the nameplate put it away. He looked at the city guards and said, "What's the problem, gentlemen? This man made trouble here before. Who allowed him to enter the city?" The city guard, who was in charge, shouted loudly. "Lord Yen Feng has already dealt with this matter. Is he qualified to enter the city?" The man frowned. Although his position was lower than that of these city guards, everyone performed their own duties, did not interfere with each other, and was not afraid of him. As a result, this man shouted loudly as soon as he came up, just like scolding his subordinates, which immediately made him a little unhappy. Yen Feng is practicing favoritism and malpractice. These 2 people disobeyed the order, hurt people and despised the rules of the demon-subduing city. They are not good people at first sight. They must have some secret when they come to the demon-subduing city. Come on, take them down and torture them back. The leader shouted coldly. With that, he waved his big hand. The others were holding spears. The spears were pointed at Long Chen and Emo Nyen. Yutong and Yufei suddenly turned pale. Yutong was about to speak, but was stopped by Long Chen. Long Chen looked at Emo Nyen, shrugged and said, "Tell me, what can I do to avoid killing them?" Bold, dying, dare to be so arrogant. A city guard shouted angrily. Dragon Dust looked at these city guards and suddenly looked at Emo Nyen and said, "Are they deliberately leading us to fight?" "Yes, restricted by the rules here, they can't make a move before we make a move. They will wait for us to make a move, and then they will have a reason to make a move." Emo Nyen stalls. "So? Then we can ignore these fools? Anyway, he doesn't dare to do it. Dragon Dust Path. In theory it is. Emo Nyen Dao. You." The leader was so angry that he trembled all over, but he didn't dare to take the first shot. In fact, he was trying to force them to take the shot or escape, so they had a reason to take the shot. Even if they killed them, they wouldn't be punished. But after all, Emo Nyen wandered around here and understood the rules here. In this way, their scheme suddenly failed. Cut, a group of counselors. If you can do something, you can do it? With that, Long Chen turned his head and read to Mo. If they make a move, can I fight back? Of course you can. Even if you kill the other party, it's a big deal to judge the law hall of the city of subduing demons and let the law of the city of subduing demons judge. Mo Nian Dao. Idiot, move your fire stick to me. Don't get in my way. Long Chen stretched out his hand, directly pulled open the spear in front of him, directly left his back to them, and looked at the strong man who issued the nameplate and said, What? What are you doing? Do you need them to nod? Although Long Chen didn't know their relationship, he could guess the reason why he didn't look good before seeing the man. Of course not. You should pay the fee, by the way. The man gave the nameplate to Long Chen lightly. Dragon Dust was about to reach out to pick up the nameplate, when suddenly the void trembled. The nameplate was sucked by a powerful force and flew out directly. You two are of unknown origin and cannot recognize the master nameplate. Just then, a soft voice came, and a long-haired man with a soft face appeared. He stood with his hands held back, but he didn't move. The nameplate of the Dragon Dust suddenly flew to the man. The power of the soul, the space camera? Hu Yifei, the contemporary Tianjiao of the Iron Blood sect. Someone exclaimed and recognized the man. It was obvious that he was a man of great origin. What are you, and how dare you touch my nameplate? Dragon Chen snorted coldly, and he also did not make any action. The power of his soul broke out, and the void suddenly trembled. The nameplate suddenly stayed in the void, and then two transparent hands grasped the nameplate at the same time. The soul turns into shape. My God, how can their soul power be so terrible? Someone exclaimed. The most important thing is that neither of them used the soul technique. They both used the most primitive and basic soul power to form. The power of the soul can be condensed and shaped without the use of seal binding and soul art. How strong are the power of the souls of these two people? Spiritual cultivation is not common in this world, but it is not particularly rare. Almost most practitioners have had contact with spiritual cultivation and have a certain understanding of spiritual cultivation. But the soul power can be compressed to this point without printing, which shows that the soul power of the two people has been strong enough to be incomprehensible. Buzz, two big hands collided in the void, and the void buzzed and trembled for a while. Then countless people felt dizzy, and their heads were as painful as needles. This is the horror of soul attack. It is impossible to prevent. Boom! Suddenly, there was a loud noise, and the big hand of the soul of Long Chen unexpectedly squeezed the big hand of the other party. What? All the strong men on the scene were shocked. Even the 8 city guards were shocked. That Hu Yifei was a famous expert in the Iron Blood sect. His strength was unfathomable and he was good at soul attack. Unexpectedly, he was defeated in an instant by competing with the soul power of Long Chen. Long Chen's big hand grasped the nameplate and brought it to him. Long Chen reached out and grasped it. He looked at Hu Yifei and said, "The power of the soul is my weakness." You. Hu Yifei's soul hand was pinched and exploded, and he was shocked and angry. Long Chen's words were killing people, and his eyes immediately began to kill people. Who are you and what do you do? Hu Yifei's face was gloomy. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48:28. Hu Yifei's face showed his murderous intention, but the powerful soul power of Long Chen also aroused his vigilance. He can see that Dragon Dust is a super strong man. Such a strong man cannot have no background. He must first explore the details of Dragon Dust. Seeing Hu Yifei's inquiry, Mo Nian stood up and said, "We do funeral services. If you have any needs in this regard, you can contact us at any time." What a mess. Hu Yifei obviously hasn't heard of funeral services, he said coldly. Seeing that Hu Yifei didn't understand, Mo Nian patiently explained, "As soon as you look like a dog, you know you grew up eating the Taiping food. However, as the old saying goes, there is an unexpected situation in the sky, and people have misfortunes and blessings overnight. Even the clan has 3 declines and 6 booms, and 7 booms and 8 falls. If one day your clan declines and more people die, you can come to us. We are all one-stop service. such as watching feng shui, measuring graves, making paper figurines, painting coffins, playing dutiful son, crying white. In short, we have everything you can think of, and we have everything you can't think of. Reasonable fees, first-class service, honest management, no deception between the old and the young. Shut up, your clan will decline and many people will die. Hu Yifei roars and interrupts Emon Yen's wordiness. Emon Yen even starts to curse the Iron Blood Gate. How can he resist it? Emon Yen said in the same tone as a traitor, "Don't get angry. Even if the deal fails, we will be benevolent and righteous. Who doesn't need who? Besides, with your posture, I think you have a very high probability of using me." Death-seeking Huiyi was furious. He waved a sharp sword in his hand. As soon as the long sword came out, the temperature of the surrounding space dropped rapidly, and Sun Lung's killing intention began to spread. It was obvious that he was extremely angry. Hu Yifei, did you not pay attention to our Zichen clan when you came to the East Gate to make trouble? Just then, a group of people appeared. The city guards who had handled Emon Yen and others were among them. However, they were standing behind a woman. The woman was dressed in purple with a high bun. Although she was beautiful, her face was cold, like a layer of frost, which made people dare not look directly at her. That sentence just now was spoken by the woman in purple. Her voice was cold and hard. She moved gently and walked straight here. It seems that this woman is an expert of Zichen clan. Hey, it's interesting. Emon Yen laughed. What? Dragon Dust doesn't understand. This demon-subduing city has 4 city guards, guarding the 4 districts in the southeast and northwest respectively. Zichenzong is responsible for the east city, while Iron Blood Gate is responsible for the west city. It has long been said that the relationship between the Zichen clan and the Iron Blood clan is not very good. No wonder that the city guard didn't take back my demon-subduing card. My feelings are to use us. Emon Yen said to the Dragon Dust. When Long Chen heard this, he suddenly realized that the 2 of them had been shot. Moreover, Hu Yifei and others came. The news might even have been deliberately disclosed to them by the Zichen sect. Long Chen and Emon Yen looked at each other, and both of them were happy. Unexpectedly, someone would make an idea about them. It was interesting. Huiyi snorted coldly. Lu Xiqiong, you Zichen clan are unfair and partial to others. You are simply deceiving people too much. These 2 people. The woman called Lu Ziqiong directly interrupted him and said coldly, "Shut your mouth. I don't need anyone to tell you what to do with the Zichen sect. If you don't agree, you can go to the Demon Subduing Division to appeal. The Demon Subduing Division will decide the right and wrong. You are barking like a mad dog on the territory of our Zichen clan. Are you bullying me?" Pa pa pa. As soon as Lu Ziqiong's voice fell, the applause of Long Chen and Emon Yen immediately appeared. Emon Yen held out her thumb and said, "That's very good. He looks like a mad dog." The girl uses appropriate words and describes them accurately. It's admirable. Long Chen also said with admiration, "This howling is more vivid, memorable, thought-provoking and thought-provoking." Long Chen and Emo read this one and one, and the cold-looking Lu Ziqiong couldn't help looking at them, while the city guards behind Lu Ziqiong bit their lips, afraid they couldn't help laughing. The 2 sisters, Yutong and Yufei, encountered this situation for the first time in their lives. The expressions of Long Chen and Emon Yen were very exaggerated. How could they resist it? But he couldn't laugh. He had to cover his face with his hands to hide his smile. But Hu Yifei didn't think it was funny. His face was livid, he was so angry that he trembled all over, his fists were creaking, and his long sword was shaking like he had epilepsy. "You're not going to bite, are you?" Emon Yen looked at Hu Yifei with a surprised face. "Roll," Hu Yifei roared like thunder, billowing and surging. It was obvious that he was going to be mad. "It stinks." Emon Yen and Guoran almost simultaneously pinched their noses and fanned them with their hands. Emon Yen looks disgusted with the tunnel. This tone is bigger than Berry. Dragon Dust Mending Dao. Ka ka. Huiifei's feet crackled and there was a crack. At this time, he was on the verge of rampage. However, there was still a sense in his mind that was constraining his behavior. Lu Ziqiang, you shield them and break the rules of the city of subduing demons. I will report this to the Department of Subduing Demons. But this one was put aside in advance today. I Hu Yifei formally challenged you. Do you dare to challenge me? Hu Yifei was furious and threw out a nameplate. As soon as the nameplate appeared, all the strong men on the scene exclaimed that Hu Yifei's nameplate also had a golden grain. Obviously, it was also a golden card for subduing demons. According to the rules of the demon subduing city, fighting is forbidden in the city. If there are grievances that cannot be solved, you can initiate a challenge in the challenge arena and go to the challenge arena to solve them. As you wish, Lu Ziqiang snorted coldly, waved her jade hand, and a golden light flew by. Another golden card to subdue the devil. People exclaimed that they had seen 3 gold subduing magic cards in the legend. Are they all so abnormal? Long Chen's eyes were almost staring out. Mo Nian could kill the heavenly saint-level monster alone, so he recognized them. As a result, the 2 in front of him had also killed the heavenly saint-level monster. Long Chen felt deeply unwilling for the first time. Don't be so serious. Mo Nian murmured. What? It's true to kill the heavenly saint-level demons alone, but no one said that they must fight head-on? Mo Nian reminded him. You mean? Long Chen grew up. Poisons, arrays, and sneak attacks can be used. You can also wait for opportunities, such as taking advantage of their production and mating. Hey. Mo Nian said with a smile. Ilgo, Dragon Chen suddenly realized that he had a lot of balance in his heart. Long Chen thought that he had become a frog at the bottom of a well unconsciously. This blow was too great. Fortunately, Mo read this explanation, and Long Chen finally understood what was going on. Buzz, at this moment, 2 gold nameplates overlapped, and then a voice without emotion came. 3 hours after the decisive battle, the number 37 challenge arena will be held. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 4829. It's the number 37 challenge arena. Good guy, this is a super genius battle. Hurry. Someone shouted. Fast what? Some people don't understand. Buy the ticket quickly, or you won't be able to buy it. When that voice came, whether inside or outside the city, countless strong people were in uproar, and people rushed into the city like running water. All the directions they ran were the same place. Fast blood-binding nameplate, we also go to buy tickets. Mo Nian shouted. Buzz, dragon dust drops a drop of blood on the nameplate. Countless runes flow on the nameplate. The nameplate seems to be pregnant with life. After absorbing the blood of dragon dust, this nameplate represents the identity of dragon dust. From then on, dragon dust can use this nameplate to enter and leave the demon subduing city freely, and can store his money and honor values in the nameplate. If Long Chen can kill a heavenly saint-level demon like Mo Nian, his honor will directly reach the gold level, and he will also enjoy more advanced treatment. All transactions in the demon subduing city should be completed through this nameplate. It is illegal to trade privately, and there is no protection. In other words, you deserve to be cheated. Mo Nian asked Long Chen to activate the nameplate because without the nameplate, he could not enter the city or buy challenge arena tickets. The nameplate recognizes the owner, and a huge stone behind the person responsible for issuing the nameplate shines slightly, which means that Long Chen can leave. Just as Mo Nian was pulling Long Chen to leave, Lu Ziqiang said, "You don't have to buy tickets. As a participant, I can take 10 people in." And this good thing? Mo Nian was immediately overjoyed, and then he said with a flattering smile, "Miss Lu, you are not only good at what you say, but also good at what you do. You are really a dragon and a phoenix among people and a heroine among women. My brothers are deeply impressed by you. It is a great honor to meet you." Mo reads this flicker, and Long Chen feels numb when he hears it. Is it too hard to boast? Long Chen hurriedly said, "Miss Lu, we have 4 people here. Some of them are inconvenient. It's better to." Long Chen didn't want to owe this favor and said, "After all, the sisters Yutong and Yufei are with them. It is estimated that the 2 of them are the only ones in Lu Ziqiang's mouth. If the 2 of them go, But leave the two sisters aside, Long Chen can't do this. We don't have to go, you don't have to care about us. Yutong quickly waved her hand. They knew this opportunity was rare, and didn't want to delay Long Chen and Emo Nian because of the two. Emo Nian patted her forehead and scolded her for being careless. Just about to speak, Lu Ziqiang said expressionless, "It doesn't matter. You four are okay together." This. Emo Nian was stunned. In this way, the four of them alone occupied four precious places. It seems that they are not very good. After all, they are not very familiar. It doesn't matter. I'd also like to thank you for giving me a chance. I've wanted to fight with him for a long time. However, I challenged him before and he refused. You let me get what I wanted. Even if these four places were your favor. Lu Ziqiang spoke faintly. When she spoke, her tone was cold, and there was no emotional fluctuation on her face, giving people a very strange feeling. Call, on Lu Ziqiang's nameplate, golden lines were flowing, and 10 runes the size of soybeans flew out. She took out 4 and threw them to Long Chen. Long Chen took the rune and wanted to say something, but Lu Ziqiang had already turned and left, and one of the city guards behind her said to them, "You can go directly to the Xingyun Challenge Arena to watch the battle just by printing the symbol on the nameplate." Hey, I envy you. The man had taken care of them before. At this time, he looked at the rune in the hand of Long Chen and looked envious. Unfortunately, it was too precious for Lu Ziqiang to give it to them. They could only envy it. What's the situation? Is it because she found out that she was embarrassed to take advantage of us? Hey, whatever, she gave us tickets, so we won't argue with her. It's settled. Emo Nian said with a smile. Emo Nian was not polite to Long Chen. He didn't need Long Chen to give it to him. He stretched out his hand and took a rune and put it on his nameplate. Buzz, the rune was printed on his nameplate like a drop of water, but it seemed that there was no change except for the removal of one more rune. Long Chen, Yutong and Yufei also printed the runes on the nameplate, and they also could not see any change. All four of them were somewhat insecure. Emo Nian, you can lead the way. Dragon Dust Path. Let Yutong lead the way. After all, beautiful women lead the way. It's more practical to walk. Emo Nian said with a smile. Don't you know the way? Dragon Dust asked. I said you were really boring. Since you know that, Wyatt. Emo Nian was angry. But I don't know. Yutong looked ashamed. For a while, the four people looked at me and me. They were all stupid. Yutong and Emo Nian didn't know where the Xingyun Challenge Arena was. Long Chen looked at Emo Nian with a look of disdain. This guy had boasted about how beautiful he was in the demon-subduing city. With that posture, he felt that he was already half the city master. Now I don't even know where the Xingyun Challenge Arena is. At this moment, all the previous cowhide were punctured. Emo Nian seems to be embarrassed by Long Chen. He can only go to the gate of the city and ask the person who issued the nameplate. The person who handed out the nameplate was busy at first. However, seeing that it was Emo Nian, he said something to him patiently. After Emo Nian came back, he immediately regained his previous arrogance. With a big hand, Long Chen followed him and went straight to the city. The Xingyun Challenge Arena is located in the Qingfeng Valley of Yaohua State in the North City. We need to teleport it twice to get there. Knowing that the journey was far away, Emo Nian dared not delay and went straight to the nearest inner city transmission array. However, when they came to the transmission array, the four people couldn't help taking a breath of air conditioning. There was a long line in front of the transmission array, and they couldn't see the end at a glance. They won't go to the Nebula Challenge Arena, too. Yutong surprised the tunnel. No, let's just run over. When will it take? Long Chen's scalp tingled when he saw the long dragon. If you can't get there, the demon-subduing city is not as big as you can see with your naked eyes. Even if we fly at full speed, it will take us 3 days to arrive. Besides, flying is forbidden in the demon-subduing city. Wait here for me. I'll go and have a look. Emo Nian shook his head. With that, Emo Nian pushed directly to the front crowd. Soon, Emo Nian ran over with a happy face. It turned out that their nameplates could be directly transferred in line. The three were overjoyed. When they asked about the situation, they learned that those who queued up for transmission could not buy tickets and could only fight outside the challenge arena. The people who buy tickets have special transmission channels, and the 4 of them have special runes on their nameplates, which are the highest priority. They can be transmitted directly without waiting. After 2 transmissions, the 4 people were in a dark. The Star River trembled above their heads and shrouded them in all directions, just like a dome, shrouding a huge challenge arena. Good guy, this challenge arena is awesome. Emo Nien could not help opening his mouth when he saw the scene in front of him, while Long Chen was stunned when he saw the Star River overhead. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48:30 Long Chen looked up in the distance. He saw the endless starry sky. In the swaying star trails, meteors crossed the night sky from time to time, just like a sharp sword cutting into the sky. Under the starry sky, Long Chen felt an unprecedented shock, because he found that the starry sky was a strange phenomenon. Good guy, the starry sky. At this time, Emo Nien also found that the starry sky was different. This nebula vision was left by the powerful man in the chaotic era when he fell. Although people are dead, the vision can last forever. The sea of stars and clouds represents all living beings. Therefore, the challenge arena is set up here to accept the supervision of all people in order to be fair and just. A voice came not far away. Guoran and others were looking for prestige. They saw a cold woman coming. Miss Lu, and no, you are not her. Emo Nien hurried to say hello, but found that he had mistaken the person. The woman was very similar to Lu Ziqiang, especially her cold look and tone of voice were almost the same, but their souls fluctuated differently. I am Lu Ziyu, the sister of Lu Ziqiang. Are you the 4 people my sister said? The woman looked at the 4 people of Long Chen, and her eyebrows were slightly frowned. It seemed that she was not very friendly. Originally, Emo Nien wanted to say hello warmly, but this woman's expression, Emo Nien doesn't have the habit of sticking a hot face to a cold buttock, and he said faintly, Miss Lu invited us here. Do you have any advice? Emo Nien specially said, invitation, which is also a statement of his position. He originally wanted to buy his own tickets, and had no intention of taking advantage of others. Looking at the scornful look of the other party, Emo Nien was a little uncomfortable. Long Chen was also a little uncomfortable. He didn't like to owe human kindness, especially to people who were familiar with him. The expression of Lu Ziqiang's sister made him a little angry. I don't have any advice. I just want to see what kind of person it is. It's worth my sister to ask me to entertain her. Come with me. Lu Ziya's tone is plain and authentic. It turned out that Lu Ziyu was entrusted by her sister to take care of these 4 people. She thought they were peerless masters. When he saw the result, he was disappointed. There was no fluctuation of the power of destiny on Long Chen, and Emo Nien was short of qi and blood. It was obvious that he had not recovered from a serious injury. The 2 sisters, Yutong and Yufei, although their strength is good, still can't get into her eyes, and her nature is cold, and she doesn't like to receive others. Besides, the receptionist was weaker than her, which made her a little defensive, so her face was not very good-looking, and her tone was all revealed. Lu Ziyu led the way. Long Chen frowned, looked at Emo and said, What do you say? Lu Ziyu, who was leading the way in front, looked at Long Chen and was about to open her mouth to scold Long Chen and others for their ignorance. Long Chen said coldly, Shut up, it was your sister who invited us here. We didn't mean to come here. You can receive us if you can. If you can't, just go away. We came to watch the war, not to get angry. You. Lu Ziyu was furious, but when she looked into Long Chen's eyes, her soul suddenly trembled, and an extreme sense of danger enveloped her. The instinct of life made her close her mouth immediately. Come on, don't share the same view with her. After all, it was Michelle Lu who invited us. She didn't offend us. It would be a bit rude if we left now. Emo Nien knows that Long Chen is angry. Who is Long Chen? It was the youngest dean of Lingshao Academy in its history, and it was also a talent with countless auras. Although Long Chen never shows off these things, he can't stand being looked down upon and ridiculed. The most important thing is that this is just the beginning. After a while, who knows if this woman will be sarcastic? Who can resist it? Don't mention that Long Chen can't help it. Even if Emo Nien has a better temper, he can't let others despise him. Emo Nien looks at Lu Ziyu with a frightened face and says, "We're here to acknowledge your sister's affection, but you don't want to look down on others, so that good things will turn bad in time. We don't expect you to give a warm reception. We just hope you don't talk too much and don't get things out of hand." Everyone looks ugly. Emo Nien's words, although the wind is light and the clouds are light, but the calm and self-confidence in his bones is the style of only the strongest. Although he is still healing, even the sick tiger is still not so easy to bully. Lu Ziyu realized that something was wrong. She finally realized that she might have lost her sight. The two men who looked at nothing could be two very terrible beings. However, her arrogance did not allow her to bow her head. She snorted coldly. Without saying anything, she turned and walked forward. Long Chen and Emo Nien looked at each other and nodded, while the two sisters, Yutong and Yufei, were like frightened birds. Their eyes were full of embarrassment and panic. Lu Ziyu is a 9-star destiny. The chi field when she was angry scared them. Long Chen motioned them not to be afraid. If he and Emo Nien were there, they would be fine. The 4 men followed behind Lu Ziyu. Lu Ziyu led the way without saying a word. Soon a door appeared at the end of the passage ahead. Lu Ziyu placed the nameplate on the platform at the edge of the portal. Long Chen saw that it was a silver nameplate. It was obvious that Lu Ziyu had a record of killing local saint-level monsters. No wonder she was so proud. Buzz, Long Chen and others followed suit. They took out the nameplate and walked into the gate. When Lu Ziyu saw the golden subduing demon card of Emo Nien, she tried to pretend to be calm, but she still couldn't hide her shock. At this time, she finally understood why she invited the 4 of them, who were as powerful as her sister. When she saw the nameplate of Emo Nien, Lu Ziyu's face was much better than before. She no longer owed her a lot of money. Maybe this is the rule of the spiritual world. Only with enough strength can she get enough respect. Passing through the gate, Long Chen and others saw a challenge arena with a radius of hundreds of miles. On the challenge arena, runes were flowing, and a thick and simple atmosphere came to their faces. At the same time, the powerful atmosphere of killing made people warm. To the surprise of Long Chen and others, Lu Ziyu opened her mouth and pointed to the challenge arena and said, "This is a challenge arena made of the bones of heavenly saint-level monsters. It's extremely strong. It's said that no one can destroy the disciples of the divine realm." The bones of the heavenly saint-level monster? Yutong was shocked and Emo Nien was shocked. Where do you think the bodies of the heavenly saints and monsters you handed over have been used? Lu Ziyu said. Emo Nien suddenly realized that Long Chen looked at the challenge arena. Sure enough, the green bricks and stone pillars were all made of bone. However, they were covered by the array and did not leak any breath. Therefore, it was difficult to see the secret with the naked eye. This challenge arena is terrible. It is the strongest challenge arena I have ever seen. Yutong couldn't help exclaiming. This only shows that you have too little knowledge. This is the strongest. You really can't stand the stage. Just then, a disdainful voice came from behind the crowd. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48:31 Long Chen turned to look, and saw 5 young men and women in purple clothes coming. Their clothes were the same as those of Lu Ziyu, and their breath was strong. All of them were 9-star destiny. The most important thing is that all of them have a bright spirit, and there are heavenly runes looming around them, which is much better than the general 9-star destiny. Among the 5 people, 3 men and 2 women are extremely young, handsome men and luxurious women. However, their vague pride in their eyes and their look of overlooking all living beings have damaged their image. Take advantage of the wind and don't be rude. Seeing that Long Chen frowned and Emo Nien's eyes were cold, Lu Ziyu immediately stood up and shouted to the man. Obviously, these people were just like Lu Ziyu before. They were blinded by Emo Nien's golden subduing demon card, which was enough to make them look up. 7th sister, what's the situation? The eldest sister fought with others. Are they the only 4 people invited? Is this too wasteful? The man's name was Lu Chengfeng. He was a little upset and said, "Such a valuable place is given to outsiders. You know, how many people in our clan want to come to watch the war but can't buy tickets? They can only fight outside the challenge arena. According to the rules of the Xingyun Challenge Arena, each exhibitor can invite 10 people to watch the game from a close distance. These 10 positions are the best seats for watching the game, which can't be bought with money." Lu Ziqiang even let 4 of the 10 precious places out. When she saw Long Chen and others, one was not even a dead man, the other was a half-dead sick child, and the other 2 were so weak that Lu Chengfeng and others were angry that they didn't fight at all. Another disciple of the Lu family could not help but say, "The family elders will scold the eldest sister after they know." The disciple looked at Long Chen and others, his face cold, and said, "If you guys know each other well, you can hurry." Breeze, Lu Ziqiang was furious and motioned him to shut up. But the disciple still sneered, "The so-called man wants face, the tree wants skin." Ha! Suddenly, a palm of his hand was thrown on the disciple's face. The palm was so powerful that the disciple was unprepared. As a result, the corners of his mouth were torn open by the palm, and blood flowed. 7th sister, the beaten disciple was shocked and angry, while the other Lu family disciples were also stunned. They didn't expect that Lu Ziyu would give him such a heavy hand and leave him no face at all. They are friends of the elder sister. You should respect them as you do. This is the elder sister's decision. Even if the elder blames them, the elder sister will deal with it. There is no need for you to be wordy here. In any case, we will wait until the battle of the eldest sister is over. Do you hear me? Lu Ziyu was fierce in voice and expression. Before, she looked down on Long Chen and others just like them, but when she saw the eyes of Long Chen and the identity of Mo Nian, she finally realized that it was wrong. With the pride of the elder sister, she never contacted anyone except those horrible monsters in the sect, but she invited these 4 people to come. There must be some reason. Along the way, she finally figured out that the eldest sister had asked her to receive her in person, which must have a profound meaning. Therefore, she was more sober than anyone at this time. If Lu Chengfeng and others take Long Chen and Mo Nianxi away, then the elder sister will blame them, and all of them will be overwhelmed. Originally despised by others, Long Chen and Mo Nian held back their anger. Long Chen was so angry that he wanted to turn around and leave. He couldn't care so much about Lu Ziqiang's disgrace. When did he suffer this kind of bird spirit in his life? However, Lu Ziyu's slap made them somewhat unexpected, and their anger disappeared a lot. The young disciples of the Lu family were stunned by Lu Ziyu. They never imagined that Lu Ziyu would be so angry for these people. Seeing several Lu family disciples frightened, Lu Ziyu turned to look at Long Chen and Mo and said, "These are the unproductive disciples of the Lu family. They have been growing up under the protection of the family and the Zichen clan. They have never seen anything in the world. They are not strong enough and have a lot of pride. They make you laugh." Lu Ziyu suddenly turned cold and looked at Lu Chengfeng and said, "Chengfeng, come here and apologize to this sister." Lu Chengfeng looked incredulous. He looked at Yutong and Lu Ziyu, clenched his teeth, but said nothing. Obviously, he couldn't accept asking him to apologize. In his eyes, how could the strong bow to the weak? You. Seeing that Lu Chengfeng did not apologize, Lu Ziyu was furious and raised her hand. Lu Chengfeng seemed very afraid of Lu Ziyu. Obviously, he saw her hand, but he did not dare to avoid it. "Forget it," Long Chen said. In fact, he and Mo Nian could see that Lu Ziyu's hand was held high, but it didn't fall. This was for them to see. She didn't really want to smoke Lu Chengfeng. Long Chen's words immediately relieved Lu Ziyu. After all, Lu Chengfeng was also the best young Tianjiao in the Lu family. Even her eldest sister Lu Ziqiang would not easily beat him. Long Chen gave her a step. She immediately borrowed a donkey to go down the slope and shouted to Lu Chengfeng, "Thank you, Long Chen. Don't always think you are great. They are the people with the golden subduing magic card. What qualifications do you have to discriminate against others?" Hearing the golden subduing the devil card, the 5 Lu family disciples were immediately shocked. Sure enough, in this world where the strong are the most respected, strength is everything. The expression of the 5 people immediately became respectful, without their previous arrogance. However, Lu Chengfeng still kept his mouth shut. Even if the other party had the golden subduing magic card, he could not bow to the other party. Suddenly he opened his mouth. What's the big deal? The patriarch said that when I advanced to the later stage of the divine reverence, I would have the strength to fight for the golden subduing demon card. Although the tone is still unconvinced, but the tone has not been despised before. Perhaps, this is Tianjiu's last stubbornness. You. Lu Ziyu stared. Well, let's just let it go. Long Chen stood up and said, we were invited by Miss Lu Ziqiong to watch the war. We will write down this favor and pay it back later. You have no obligation to be so warm to us, but I also hope that what you say will not be so unpleasant. I am a bad-tempered person. Really, don't let things get out of hand. That would be a pity. Long Chen's eyes swept over Lu Chengfeng and others, and their hair suddenly bristled and their scalp exploded. They seemed to be stared at by a wild beast from hell. The strong smell of death made them fall into an ice cellar. Take your seats. It's about to begin. Lu Ziyu hurried to round the track. The crowd began to walk to the front seat of the challenge arena. There were millions of spectators, but there was no one at this time. When Long Chen and others entered the best spectator seat with only 10 seats, 10 people also appeared opposite the challenge arena. One of them suddenly stood up and made a gesture of cutting his throat to Lu Ziyu and others. Lu Ziyu and others were furious, but before they reacted, the man suddenly looked at Long Chen with a grim smile. This guy is going to die of tricks. Looking at the man provoking dragon dust, Mo Nian helplessly spread his hands and sighed sympathetically. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48-32. The man's face was strange, full of runes, just like tattoos. He could not see his age clearly, but his eyes had vertical pupils, just like crocodile's eyes, which looked frightening. When he looked at the dragon dust, his vertical pupil contracted back and forth, and his eyes were full of greed, just like a hungry wolf seeing delicious food. He pointed to the dragon dust, showing a row of serrated teeth, and made a chewing action. Although he didn't say anything, his expression had told everyone that the dragon dust would be his food. Long Chen had been smothered with fire, but he could not attack it all the time. When he was provoked by this strange man, Long Chen immediately felt murderous. When the anger reached a certain level, Long Chen calmed down. Except for Sen's cold eyes, no one could see the change in his mood. However, Mo Nian knew that Long Chen had moved to kill this guy. Who is this guy? So arrogant? Mo Nian asks for Long Chen. Lu Ziyu looked at the man with a serious face and said, he is the direct descendant of the Iron Blood sect leader, named Chaos Shaking. He has refined the secret skill of the Iron Blood sect, the blood melting skill, to the 8th level. It is said that the blood melting skill of the Iron Blood sect has 10 levels, but few people can practice it to the 7th level. Those who can practice it to the 8th level are all super geniuses, and their names will be recorded in history. With the help of the Iron Blood sect, this Chaos Shaking fused the blood essence of the ancient blood crocodile. At this time, he was no longer a complete blood clan, but a monster half-human and half-beast. His strength was terrible. Blood-melting magic skill? The secret method that claims to be able to fuse any blood vessels and restore the blood inheritance through the power of blood vessels when you practice it to the extreme? Isn't it lost long ago? Mo Nian was slightly surprised when he heard the blood-melting skill. Yes, that's the secret method. The secret methods circulating in the world are basically incomplete. Only the Iron Blood sect has complete secret books. If he didn't have a complete secret method, Chao Shaoqing couldn't cultivate to the 8th level, let alone integrate the blood essence of the ancient blood crocodile. Otherwise, the power in the blood essence was enough to explode him. You know, what he integrated was the heavenly saint-level blood essence. Lu Ziyu looked at the monster opposite. Her eyes were full of fear. No wonder he is so arrogant. Since he has cultivated the blood-melting skill to the 8th level, and what he has refined is the blood essence of the heavenly saint level. He may display the supernatural power of the heavenly saint level ancient blood crocodile. Emon nodded. This guy is really strong. At this time, Chao Shaoqing seemed to see that Long Chen didn't respond. He thought that Long Chen didn't understand what he meant. He actually pointed to Long Chen. He grabbed his hands in the void and pulled at both sides. At this time, Long Chen finally couldn't help it, because he couldn't talk across the challenge arena. Long Chen raised his left hand, made a move to pick things in the air with his right hand, then twisted his hands, pointed to Emon, and scratched on the ground. Long Chen's action made Chao Shaoqing look confused. Even Lu Ziyu and others did not understand what Long Chen wanted to express. At this time, Emon explained, "What dragon dust means is that he will catch this guy, pull out his teeth one by one, and then screw his head off. However, let him not worry. After his death, his body will not be exposed in the wilderness. I will dig a pit and bury him well." Emon Lien said with gestures, and suddenly looked at Long Chen helplessly. "Your gesture is too unprofessional, and there are problems with your expression. They simply can't understand it. Forget it, I'd better show you." Buzz, Emon was about to make a move when the whole challenge arena lit up. The empty seats around him were filled with people in an instant. Countless people were instantly transferred to their seats. The quiet scene was like a boiling pot. There were whispers everywhere. Millions of people entered and could not hear anything at once. As soon as these people came in, they began to look around. The first thing they looked at was the 10 seats closest to the challenge arena on both sides. Almost all their eyes focused on Long Chen and others. Emon was just about to gesture with his hands. Seeing so many people watching, he finally shook his head and said, "Well, I'm not going to bother. If someone misinterprets my actions, it'll be ruined if I read my name all my life." For a moment, countless startling voices sounded. Long Chen heard the names of Lu Ziyu, Lu Qingfeng and others. Obviously, many people recognized them, indicating that they had great influence in the demon-subduing city. However, the name that people talk about most is Chao Shaoqing. When people mention his name, there is not only shock but also fear in his voice. The presence of Chao Shaoqing shocked the strong people present. So many people were admitted at the same time, but all of them had to be honest in their seats and dared not make any changes. Many people glanced at the dragon dust and Emon, and they basically glanced at them. Obviously, in the demon-subduing city, they were just nobody. When the audience entered, Lu Qingfeng and others saw so many people looking at them and recognized their identity. Their proud eyes began to flourish again. "It's nice to be young." Emon looked at them and sighed. "Yes, it's nice to be young." Dragon Dust also sighed on his face. "What are you talking about? Why are you so old-fashioned that you look as if you are old?" Seeing Long Chen and Emon sighing, Yutong asked angrily. It's clear that everyone is the same age and Long Chen seems younger, but their tone is as bad as old man, which makes people feel very strange. We have passed the age when others praise us, and we will be excited to wet age. Emon looked up at the sky and sighed. "They'll go. Don't be so dissolute." Long Chen didn't expect that Emon would suddenly say such a sentence. He couldn't help but be speechless for a while. "What do you mean?" Yutong stares at Big Eyes and asks Long Chen. Long Chen was immediately embarrassed. Yutong and Yufei were innocent girls who had no knowledge of human affairs and could not understand the meaning. Lu Ziyu was also confused. However, a female disciple of the Lu family had a strange face. It was obvious that she recognized the color of this sentence. If you ask him, he will give you an accurate explanation. Dragon Chen can't explain, so he gives the ball to Emon. Emon was thick-skinned. Looking at Long Chen, he said, "By excited to wet, I mean wet eyes, that is, excited to tears. Where do you want to go? Cut, your mind is not simple." This guy was so bad that he threw dirty water on Long Chen. Long Chen couldn't argue with him. Okay, he was cruel enough. I accepted the defeat. Buzz, at that moment, the challenge arena trembled, and two figures entered the challenge arena at the same time. At that moment, millions of people outside the challenge arena shouted in unison. Then the challenge arena trembled, and a vast force swept through the whole arena. The breath of the heavenly sage and the strong made people breathless. Here we go. Lu Ziyu looked at her sister in the challenge arena, and her heart suddenly mentioned her voice. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48-33. Lu Ziyu's face was calm, but it was all pretended. Long Chen could feel the tension in her heart. Lu Qingfeng and others, on the other hand, did not care. A disciple said to Lu Ziyu, "Don't worry, elder sister 7. That Hu Yifei is definitely not the opponent of elder sister. Yes, we have seen the battle scenes of Hu Yifei. His strength is obviously inferior to that of elder sister. Elder sister is sure to win this battle." Lu Qingfeng also followed. Long Chen and Emo Nian look at Lu Ziqiang and Hu Yifei on the court. At this time, their blood has begun to rise slowly. Their strength is accumulating and they have entered the state of war readiness. They also had to enter the combat readiness state, because the challenge arena had been opened, and the green bricks on the challenge arena, refined by the heavenly saint-level magic bones, had begun to emit magic power. In order to resist the magic power, they had to use their breath to resist. Although there is a barrier in the challenge arena, the magic power can still break through the barrier of the barrier and spread to the viewing mat. Long Chen and Emo Nian don't care, but Yufei beside Yutong looks pale and uncomfortable. "Yufei, what's the matter with you?" Long Chen asked with concern. "I'm fine, brother Long Chen, don't worry." Although Yufei indicated that it didn't matter, everyone could see that she was suffering. Seeing Yufei's appearance, the Lu family disciples had a look of contempt in their eyes. However, with their previous experience, they managed to control their mouths and did not make any sarcasm. Yufei is very sensitive to evil power when she comes to the city of subduing evil for the first time. Yutong hurriedly explained, "Of course, this is also related to our own strength." A Lu family disciple spoke faintly. "Shut up," Lu Ziyu shouted. The Lu family disciple turned his head away. Obviously, he was still a little unconvinced. Yu Feiduan was very ashamed when she was about to speak, but Long Chen handed her a pill. When the pill came out, the fragrance of the pill was very fragrant, which made everyone around feel refreshed. "Take this pill and you'll be fine." Long Chen hands the pill to Yufei. "Brother Long Chen, no, I can bear it. This pill must be very precious. Don't waste it on me." Yufei hurriedly refused. Although she doesn't know much about pills, it can be inferred from the fragrance and fluctuation that this pill is definitely a very precious pill. "Since you're called brother, you're welcome and obedient. Otherwise, the battle will begin soon. You will be overwhelmed by the evil spirit." Dragon Dust Path. Hearing Long Chen's words, Yufei blushed and took the pill and gently sent it to the mouth. When she swallowed the pill, suddenly she was covered with golden magic light and vast waves. This is Golden Pill. Lu Qingfeng and others looked at Yufei and Long Chen in disbelief. At the beginning, seeing that Long Chen took out a pill, they didn't care, especially the pill didn't seem remarkable. However, when Yufei swallowed the pill, they suddenly understood that the reason why the pill was inconspicuous was that it was wrapped in a layer of pill. Even if it is the Tianjiao of Zichen's sect, most of the pills they use are only miraculous pills, but they are of high level and most of them are the best. As for Baodan level pills, Zikenzong also distributes them every month. However, the distribution of pills of that level is limited, usually only 2 or 3 pills. People of Lu Ziyu's level can only receive 8 pills a month at most. Moreover, the best treasure pill can only receive 1 at most, and other grades can only be under the best. As for the gold pill, Lu Ziyu can only receive 1 a year. Unless there is a major breakthrough or major contribution, he will add 1 or 2 more. However, Long Chen gave Yufei a golden elixir. Although he could not see the grade from the golden glow on Yufei, it can be judged that the grade of the golden elixir given by Long Chen is definitely not low. At this moment, the Lu family disciples were shocked. It is too exaggerated to give such a precious gold pill to others. Seeing the Lu family disciples' wide eyes, Yufei was simple, but not stupid. She knew that the pill given to her by Long Chen was absolutely precious, otherwise they would not show that expression. Brother Long Chen. Yu Feiden's eyes were red with anxiety. Long Chen gently stroked Yu Fei's head and said with a warm smile, "Can my brother scream in vain? Don't worry, this is a gift from your brother Long Chen. Later, your brother Emo Nian will give you a gift." Emo Nian glared at Long Chen. This guy is really bad. He dragged him into the water. However, Emo Nian is not stingy. Besides, seeing the shocked eyes of Lu family disciples, Emo Nian was also very happy. "When I look back, I'll see what's suitable for you. After all, I can't be so stingy. A top-grade gold pill, hey, I can't take it." Top-grade gold pill? Can't take it? Lu's disciples looked at each other, and Lu Ziyu was shocked. Although she had guessed that Long Chen had brought out the top-grade gold pill, she had taken it after all, but the top-grade gold pill was too precious for her to decide, but Emo Nian's words directly confirmed her guess. Emo Nian's tone was exaggerated and meant to show off. However, the Lu family disciples were still shocked. They didn't know what the two guys were from. "Brother Longchen, we don't have to," Emo Nian said, and Yu Tong and Yu Fatan were a little restless. Long Chen waved his hand, looked at Lu Qingfeng and other Lu family disciples and said, "We two brothers have only met Miss Lu Ziqiang once, but thanks to her respect, I have to say a few words to you." What? Lu Ziyu and others were stunned. Dragon Dust said, "You are very happy. You were sheltered by a big tree from the wind and rain since you were born. Therefore, your speech and behavior seem to us extremely childish and ignorant." When Long Chen said this, the Lu disciples' faces suddenly changed. However, Long Chen continued, "You have all lived by luck, but you don't know that the only thing you are better than us. Well, it is estimated that your reincarnation skills are better." "You." Lu Qingfeng was so angry that he stood up. Dragon Chen waved his hand and said, "Well, you'd better sit down. With your strength, you can't survive in my hands. I said this not to show off, let alone preach, but to tell you that a practitioner will commit a common disease. Don't look down on anyone. The real strong are fearless of the strong and don't bully the weak. You are just the opposite. The strong will always point to the stronger, while the weak will only turn to the weaker. Such a spiritual attitude is doomed to your future growth limit." At first, the disciples of the Lu family were angry at Long Chen's words, but later, they became speechless. Lu Ziyu also looked at Long Chen with a shocked face, because she understood the true meaning of Long Chen's words. "Pa." Emo Nian clapped and exclaimed, "It really deserves to be the youngest dean of the first academy in the history of the world. That's very good. The best academy in the world. The youngest dean ever?" The Lu family disciples looked at Long Chen with a shocked face. Boom! At this time, all the runes on the challenge arena lit up, the fierce magic power was ignited, and the vast air wave swept the whole arena. "The battle begins." Just then, an old voice sounded over the challenge arena. The sound had just fallen, and the breath of Lu Ziqiang and Hu Yifei erupted like a volcano. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48-34. The challenge arena was ignited by their breath. They summoned a vision at the first time. There was a sea of blood behind Hu Yifei. There were stars in the sea of blood, huge waves and endless momentum. Behind Lu Ziqiang is a purple chrysanthemum, which is rooted in the sky. The purple chrysanthemum is covered with frost. As soon as it appears, the temperature on the challenge arena drops rapidly. The combination of ice and life? Long Chen was stunned when he saw Lu Ziqiang's vision. This vision is very rare. Long Chen saw it for the first time. Boom! The vision behind the two men spread out, with endless momentum, but the scope of the vision was not large, only a few feet around. However, with the passage of time, their visions became crazy and expanded rapidly under the pressure of endless magic power. It turns out that this challenge arena is a special place for testing. People who compete here first need to bear the pressure of the demon bone. This is why the challenge arena is numbered. The challenge arena has special rules. According to the strength of both sides, A rough assessment will be made, and then a suitable challenge arena will be selected for them. If the threat of the challenge arena is too weak and the fighter is too strong, the challenge arena will be damaged. On the contrary, if the threat of the challenge arena is too strong and the fighter is too weak, the two will be unable to move as soon as the challenge arena is opened, and there is no way to compete. At the beginning of the battle, the first thing they accept is the test of the challenge arena. If one person can't bear the test of the challenge arena, he will be eliminated directly. He doesn't even have the qualification to start. That is the most humiliating defeat in the demon-subduing city. Boom! Hu Yifei and Lu Ziqiang stayed where they were, but the fluctuation of the vision became more and more intense, and the scope of the vision became larger and larger. However, the scope of their vision was almost the same, and the fluctuation of their breath was very similar, which made the Lu family disciples' faces suddenly changed. How could this happen? The elder sister's strength should be able to crush him. A Lu family disciple exclaimed. This bastard can't have been holding back and deliberately showing weakness. Damn it, he's too insidious. Lu Qingfeng gritted his teeth and said that he was full of confidence in Lu Ziqiang before. At this time, he saw that the two men were almost equal in size and expansion speed. Lu Qingfeng immediately became nervous. The pressure of the challenge arena is balanced. Two people bear the pressure of the challenge arena at the same time. No one can be clever, and they dare not hide their strength. Once the strength is hidden, the other party's vision range will expand by 1 point, and their pressure will increase by 1 point. Therefore, at the beginning, everyone will desperately seize the opportunity. It can be said that the expansion of anomalies in the early stage is the competition in the first stage, and the strength can be seen in the competition in the first stage, so the war situation is basically known. At this time, Lu Ziyu clenched her hands. Because she was too hard, her knuckles turned white. The tension on her face could no longer be concealed, and all of it was revealed. Dragon dust, do you think my sister can win? Lu Ziyu suddenly looks at Long Chen and looks nervous. At this time, she was eager to get a reassuring answer. Long Chen looked at Lu Ziyu strangely. He suddenly understood that although Lu Ziyu had a strong breath, he did not have much actual combat experience. He had not even experienced a real battle of life and death. At this time, it seemed naive to ask this question. Dragon Dust shook his head. What? Lu Ziyu's face changed greatly and she thought her sister was going to lose. Long Chen hurriedly said, I mean, it's still early. There's no way to judge. Dragon Dust was speechless for a while. Where can we see the victory or defeat? There are a group of children sitting next to each other. Long Chen looks at Emonian, and Emonian also shrugs his shoulders, saying that he is helpless. He did not expect that these guys who seem to have good strength are all flowers in the greenhouse. They are useless to see. Boom! Suddenly there was a burst of noise, and the whole challenge arena trembled. The fierce magic power in the challenge arena became calm. At this time, the visions of Hu Yifei and Lu Ziqiang suddenly burst out. At that moment, it seemed that all the forces that bound them had disappeared. Blood Sea Sword Array. Hu Yifei gave a cold drink and his hands were sealed. In the vision behind him, a little star light burst out, and a sharp sword shot out from the vision. Keep the magic soldier when in a vision. This guy should be very rich. Dragon Dust Way. Hearing what Dragon Dust said, the Lu family disciple looked stunned and didn't know what Dragon Dust meant. It is true that tens of thousands of soul soldiers are kept warm in visions. The pills consumed are amazing. Emon Yen nodded and agreed with Long Chen. No, he has only a few hundred soul blood swords. When? Lu Qingfeng suddenly shut up, his eyes full of shock. Tens of thousands? Lu Ziyu looked at the blood sea and saw that only hundreds of sharp swords flew out. He immediately realized that Hu Yifei had hidden his strength and was in a hurry. Boom! At this time, Lu Ziqiang had a long sword in her hand. Without a word, she cut it off. When the long sword was cut off, the frost poured out. The sharp sword from all directions was frozen by the frost and could not break through Lu Ziqiang's frost barrier. Lu Ziqiang used her sword to freeze the soul swords around her. The sword momentum kept going. Her sword was like a rainbow, breaking through the sword array and directly reaching Hu Yifei's eyebrows. Huiyi snorted coldly. It's interesting. However, you can't see enough to freeze my 300 soul-cutting swords. Hu Yifei moved backward and his hands were sealed. The soul swords frozen in the void suddenly turned into flying smoke. The frost lost its attached crops and scattered. The vanishing sword unexpectedly appeared in front of Lu Ziqiang in a strange way, forming a sword shield to block Lu Ziqiang's sword. Lu Ziqiang's sword was blocked, but she did not turn back. She cut her back. There, more than 100 sharp swords were stabbing at her silently, but they were shocked by her sword. Lu Ziqiang's action is natural and unrestrained, and she is experienced. This strike shows her strong on-the-spot adaptability. Lu Qingfeng and others applaud her. But Long Chen frowned. Trouble. Alas. Meditation also sighed. What do you want to say? What's the trouble? Seeing Long Chen and Emon Yen talking, but not explaining the situation, Lu Ziyu couldn't help worrying. Emon Yen said reluctantly, your sister fell into a trap. That guy deliberately quoted 300. When blocking, he used 150 sharp swords. Your sister immediately fought back when she saw that the number was wrong. It was also 150 sharp swords attacking behind her back. In this way, your sister will have a preconceived idea that the other side has only 300 swords. In this way, she will notice the change in the number of sharp swords and judge the other side's moves. In this way, she will fall into the other side's trap. Lu Ziyu and others had not yet understood the meaning of Emon Yen. At that moment, Lu Ziyu had already killed Huiyi with a long sword. At this time, a scene that shocked the whole audience appeared, because tens of thousands of sharp swords were gathering behind Lu Ziqiang, but Lu Ziqiang turned a blind eye and attacked frantically. Sister, be careful, Lu Ziyu screamed, but at this moment, the tens of thousands of sharp swords were condensed, and Hu Yifei sneered, go to hell, all swords in one. Buzz. 10,000 swords converged to form a huge blade that was hundreds of feet long and went straight to Lu Ziyu's back heart. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48:35 Lu Ziqiang in the challenge arena rolled her sword and pushed Hu Yifei backwards. She crushed 300 sharp swords. Everything was under her control. But when she saw the sinister in Hu Yifei's eyes, a bad mood grew in her mind, and the frost on the purple chrysanthemum in the vision behind her disappeared for a moment. At this time, Lu Ziqiang finally realized that it was not good. Hu Yifei's 10,000 swords were won, and she stabbed her with her powerful force. Buzz. Suddenly, Lu Ziqiang tied the seal with one hand, and the purple chrysanthemum in the vision behind her disappeared. Unexpectedly, it appeared on the tip of her sword and cut off behind her. Boom! With a bang, the purple flower heads on the tip of the sword burst out rapidly and collided with the huge sword. With a startling bang, the whole challenge arena trembled. The petals were flying and the sword was flying. The petals and the sword burst at the same time. Lu Ziyu and others cheered excitedly when they saw this scene. Lu Ziqiang actually blocked the fatal blow. Poof, however, before their cheers fell, a sharp sword quietly stabbed into Lu Ziqiang's chest. Hu Yifei looked at Lu Ziqiang with a grim smile. Little bitch, I've wanted to kill you for a long time. Unfortunately, I killed you without playing with your body. It's really outrageous. Huiyi holds a long sword and passes through Lu Ziqiang's body. He looks at Lu Ziqiang's face. His eyes are full of lust. Go? Huiyi didn't give Lu Ziqiang any chance at all. The long sword in her hand vibrated and the violent power erupted. Sister, Lu Ziyu shouted. No! Lu family disciples roared. Boom! With a bang, the long sword in Hu Yifei's hand exploded, but Lu Ziqiang on the long sword disappeared. Huiyi was shocked. He looked around and saw Lu Ziqiang in the corner of the challenge arena, her hands covering her chest and her face showing her killing power. No one could have imagined that Lu Ziqiang had such a unique skill to save her life and escape at the critical moment. Bitch, you have some skills, but I know that you are a man who wants face. You will not admit defeat, will you? Come on, get up and fight again? Show your Lu family disciples indomitability and bravery. Show those Lu family waste people on the observation platform how vulnerable you Lu family people are. Ha! Huiyi laughed and looked at the viewing platform as a winner. Suddenly he saw the dragon dust, his eyes became gloomy for a moment, and he suddenly moved. People appeared in front of Lu Ziqiang like ghosts. Lu Ziqiang was seriously injured. Although she escaped her life, she was unable to fight again. But she was not willing to admit defeat, especially Hu Yifei's words, which deeply hurt her inner self-esteem. She wanted to fight again. Even if she died in the challenge arena, she was not willing to admit defeat. When Huiyi appeared, Lu Ziqiang clenched her teeth. The flowers in the vision behind her had disappeared, leaving only a pole. At this time, the pole also burned. Boom! Lu Ziqiang slashed her long sword with a bang. Hu Yifei was pushed back by her sword. At this time, she was bathed in flames, just like the god of war. Burning visions, is she crazy? Emonian was shocked. This Lu Ziqiang was too stubborn. Ah well, that's what Lu family disciples should look like. Come on, let's fight another 300 rounds. Huiyi laughed. Huaifei's hands were sealed, and tens of thousands of sharp swords flew, stabbing Lu Ziqiang like a crazy rainstorm. Lu Ziqiang slashed with her sword and walked forward against the sword rain. Her eyes were full of cold, murderous intent. Dragon dust, can my sister win? My sister must win, right? Luzia's voice was crying and asked Longchen in an almost begging tone. Dragon Chen was silent, and Emonian sighed. If your sister doesn't fall into the trap, fight with her fairly, the odds are 55, but now. Poof! At this moment, Lu Ziqiang was scratched by a sharp sword on her leg. However, the sword only hurt Lu Ziqiang's skin. She didn't care and was still attacking frantically. Poop poop. Then Lu Ziqiang hit the sword continuously, but Lu Ziqiang was fearless and still rushed forward madly. At this time, her life was already dead. When seeing this scene, the faces of Longchen and Emonian became a little ugly. Emonian gnashed his teeth and said, "This bastard is so shameless that he must die today." Hiss! At this moment, a sword light flashed over Lu Ziqiang's thigh. Then, in a burst of exclamation, Lu Ziqiang's trouser legs flew down and a beautiful thigh was exposed. Wow, this thigh is so long and white. I'll see if it's the same in other places. Huiyi laughed, and suddenly his hands were sealed, and the endless sword light wrapped Lu Ziqiang. At this time, Lu Ziqiang was shocked, angry, and ashamed. She finally realized that she had lost the chance to defeat Hu Yifei. If she went on like this, she would only bring shame on herself. Bang! Lu Ziqiang crushed a piece of jade talisman, and suddenly the light on the challenge arena flashed. Lu Ziqiang's figure disappeared, and the terrible magic power on the challenge arena also disappeared. Alas, the Tianjiao of the Lu family has been defeated. Not only was he defeated, but he was also defeated miserably. It was not only a disastrous defeat, but also the loss of adults. On the war-watching table, countless strong people sighed for it. Longchen and others shone, and Lu Ziqiang, who was covered in blood, appeared in front of the crowd. "Sister," Lu Ziyu exclaimed. She hurried up to hold her sister and wrapped her body in a blanket. At this time, Lu Ziqiang was absent-minded, and her breath fluctuated. It seemed that she would die at any time. The Lu family disciples were so scared that they didn't know what to do. It doesn't matter. It just burned. It's not a big problem. Longchen looks at Lu Ziqiang's injury and gives her a pill. Lu Ziqiang suddenly faints. Lu family disciples were about to leave with Lu Ziqiang and go back to cultivate themselves. Hu Yifei's arrogant sneer came from the challenge arena. "Hey, head shrinking tortoise of the Lu family, don't you want revenge? Come on, I'll give you a chance to revenge. Asshole, I'll fight with him." Lu Chengfeng gnashed his teeth and was about to rush up, but Lu Ziyu grabbed him. "You are not his opponent at all. You will not only lose your life in vain, but also make them more arrogant. The Lu family are all cowards. In the future, just be a shrinking turtle every day. Don't come out and make a fool of yourself." On the challenge arena, Hu Yifei laughed. After the battle, the challenge arena was not closed, because according to the rules of the demon-subduing city, the winner has the right to continue the battle, and the loser also has the right to fight back. However, there are rights, but if the other party does not accept it, it means that the battle is completely over. If Long Chen and others leave their seats, it means that they give up fighting back. Facing the arrogant Huiyi, Emonian couldn't help shouting and scolding, "Hey, why are your eyes on your ass? You have to find the right person for provocation. You dare not say a word when you are next to me. What are you shouting about there? He's just a garbage who relies on women to protect him. Do you ask him if he dare to fight?" Huiyi sneered. When Hu Yifei provoked Longchen, the Lu family disciples immediately looked at Longchen together, and Longchen looked calm and said, "If you want to be reborn, I can help you. See? Boy, we don't care about you at all. We have a kind of direct challenge. Come on, who's afraid of who?" Mo Nian saw that Longchen agreed and immediately continued to stir up the flames. "Take it if you have seed," Huiyi sneered, waved his big hand, and the golden nameplate flew into the air. A touch of irony appeared at the corners of Longchen's mouth, and he also took out his nameplate and threw it out. Buzz, at the moment when the two nameplates collided, Longchen's body disappeared from his seat. When he reappeared, he was already on the challenge arena. "Ah, the good play has begun." Looking at Longchen on the stage, Mo Nian shouted excitedly, "Hey, hey, folks, old and young men, the market is open. The market is open. Those who want to win money should bet quickly. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48:36. Mo Nian shouted excitedly, but his voice was still fading. An old voice came. "The Xingyun Challenge Arena is a place for martial arts competition. Gambling is forbidden. I'll kick you out again." Mo Nian was so scared that he shrunk his neck. "I'll go. Gambling is forbidden in the challenge arena. It's rare. Can they open the game? Can I?" However, in other people's territory, Mo Nian didn't dare to be too presumptuous, so he could only give up the opportunity of instant wealth. Cough. Just then, Lu Ziqiang woke up and began to cough up blood. After coughing up 2 mouthfuls of congestion, her spirit was much better. "Sister, are you awake? It's very nice." Seeing Lu Ziqiang wake up, Lu Ziyu's excited tears came down. His pills are really effective. Lu Qingfeng and others were surprised and delighted. Lu Ziqiang had been so badly hurt before. The pill Longchen gave her was absolutely unusual. Why did he go up? Lu Ziqiang just woke up. She was a little confused. After a while, she recovered. When she saw Longchen standing in the challenge arena, she couldn't help but be shocked. That guy provoked him, so he went up. Mo Nian stalls. "Get him back quickly. That guy's strength is more than that. He must have a backhand." Lu Ziqiang was shocked. "How can you come back empty-handed when everything is up? That's not his style." Mo Nian looked indifferent. "Don't you worry about him?" Lu Ziqiang hurried. "Why should I worry about him?" Mo Nian looked confused. "Isn't he your brother?" "Yeah, do you care about his life or death?" Buzz. Before Mo Nian could answer, the challenge arena trembled, and the vast magic power was opened again. At that moment, Lu Ziqiang looked pale. It was too late to call back Longchen, because Longchen could not hear the voice outside. However, the first time Longchen went to the challenge arena, he certainly didn't know. In the challenge arena, only by crushing the nameplate can he be sent out, otherwise he will only be killed. Boom! Just like before, all the magic bones on the challenge arena lit up, and the magic power like a tsunami rose to the sky. At that moment, all the strong men in the arena focused on the challenge arena. "Brother Longchen, will he be all right?" Yutong Yufei worried about the tunnel. "You might as well worry about that, Hu Yifei. I think it's only reasonable." Mo read a wordless way. On the challenge arena, Hu Yifei laughed and looked like a successful conspiracy. "Haha boy, you finally came in. You know, I deliberately humiliated Lu Ziqiang and didn't kill her just to lead you in." Longchen quietly looks at Hu Yifei and doesn't speak. "Boy, I didn't try to figure out your depth in front of the city gate. This time, I will cut off your head with my own hands. Hu Yifei looked ferocious. It's really a guy who will repay his evil will. Long Chen shook his head and said, it turned out that he had lost a move in front of the city gate just because he had not tried to find out his depth, and he had been bitter about it. Boy, you're so stupid that you shouldn't go with that chick. If you die, you can only blame your bad luck. Hu Yifei smiled. Obviously, Long Chen is the ignition lock for the conflict between the two forces. Now Hu Yifei wants to kill Long Chen too. Long Chen shook his head and said, I found that many young people in the demon-subdued city are not very good at using their brains. Is it because they have been smoked by the demon gas and become sour and smelly? They are arrogant, and their eyes are higher than their heads. If you really have some power, you can do it, but you can raise your tail to the sky. I really don't understand. Where does your self-confidence come from? As soon as Long Chen said this, Lu Chenfeng and others' faces were embarrassed. Each one looked a little unnatural. Their faces were hot. Long Chen felt that he was talking about them. Even Lu Ziyu felt her face was burning. Seeing this, Lu Ziqiang was stunned at first, and then she was angry. I asked you to receive them. Are you? Sister, I know I was wrong. Lu Ziyu quickly bowed her head. Lu Ziqiang was speechless for a while. At the beginning, her intuition told him that Long Chen and Mo Nian were absolutely different, but she couldn't tell what was different. She wanted to concentrate on the fight, so she asked her own sister to receive her in person to show her sincerity, but she didn't expect such a result. Just then, Hu Yifei's arrogant voice sounded again on the stage. You, a nobody, dare to talk in the demon-subduing city? I'm also very strange. Who gave you the courage? Courage comes from strength. Forget it. I'm too lazy to talk nonsense to you. Let's finish it quickly. Long Chen said something and walked slowly to Hu Yifei. Dragon Dust's moving step made all the spectators on the scene exclaim. Stupid, the rules haven't started. You can't walk around at will. This fool doesn't even understand the rules. It's estimated that he will be crushed to death by the pressure of the challenge arena without Hu Yifei reaching out. Cut, I was full of expectation, but now I'm ready. It's coming to an end. It's really disappointing. At that time, countless people roast, and Lu Ziyu and others also looked helpless. But it is no wonder that Long Chen, after all, was not told this rule. As soon as he moves around, he will be out of balance in an instant because of his 5 points of pressure. After listening to Mo Nian's words, Lu Ziqiang had a little expectation. Now this expectation has disappeared. Ha, what a fool. Seeing Long Chen coming, Hu Yifei laughed. At this time, the threat of the challenge arena officially opened. Hu Yifei immediately summoned his vision and began to confront the threat of the challenge arena. Ta-da! However, what shocked everyone was that in front of such a terrible holy power, Long Chen moved forward steadily and walked calmly. It seemed that he could not feel the pressure of the holy devil. What? For a moment, everyone was shocked. Even Lu Ziqiang and others opened their eyes and looked at everything in front of them in disbelief. Lu Ziqiang has personally experienced the terrible pressure. If there were not a vision, she would not be able to resist. However, Dragon Dust doesn't even need to summon a vision. Boom! Long Chen continued to move forward, and the whole challenge arena began to tremble. People could see that there was an undercurrent surging in the challenge arena, and they all concentrated on Long Chen, but Long Chen just walked forward as if he didn't feel anything. At that moment, the strong man with runes on his face on the opposite stage had bright eyes and opened his mouth to shout. Because there was a challenge arena isolated, he didn't know what he was shouting. Hu Yifei in the challenge arena was shocked. At this time, he finally had no previous ridicule. Instead, his eyes were shocked. Call. Suddenly Hu Yifei raised his hand, and a jade plaque appeared on his palm. No, he's going to throw in the towel. Lu Chenfeng and others exclaimed. Hiss! However, the moment he raised his arm, a big hand grabbed his wrist and tore off one of his arms. The cold voice of Dragon Dust spread throughout the audience. The third master of Dragon Shot, only reincarnation, no surrender. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 4837. Hu Yifei screamed bitterly in the challenge arena. One of his arms and shoulder blades were torn off. The bloody scene shocked countless strong men on the scene. Long Chen ignored the pressure of the challenge arena. He didn't even have to open his vision, so he came to Hu Yifei. Hu Yifei reacted quickly. He didn't doubt that Long Chen had used any cheating techniques. The instinct of life told him that Long Chen was extremely terrible. Unfortunately, his quick reaction was useless. Long Chen interrupted his chance to admit defeat, tore off his arm and kicked him in the chest. Boom, it seemed like a random kick, but Hu Yifei's chest burst open and the sound of bone fracture came, which made the whole audience feel a burst of toothache. At that moment, there was a dead silence. Even Lu Ziqiang couldn't believe it. Although her intuition told her that dragon dust was very strong, she didn't expect it to be so strong. When Lu Ziyu, Lu Chengfeng and other Lu family disciples saw the scene, they could not help feeling numb. They felt their own stupidity for the first time. Before, they despised Long Chen and Emo Nian and provoked them. Now, when Long Chen made a move, they realized that they were a group of clowns in front of Long Chen. Boom! Long Chen kicked Hu Yifei to the end of the challenge arena and bumped into the boundary of the challenge arena. His blood gushed wildly. Ta-da! Long Chen walked calmly, not fast or slow, still in the previous rhythm, step by step towards Hu Yifei. Take advantage of his illness and kill him. Don't let him survive the impact of visions and end him directly. Lu Chengfeng shouted excitedly. Dragon dust is not affected by the magic power of the heavenly saint, but Hu Yifei wants to use a vision to resist the magic power. This is the best time for dragon dust to kill Hu Yifei. Brother Long Chen is so powerful that he is not influenced by the challenge arena. Brother Emo Nian, how did he do it? Yufei's face was excited. At this time, she looked at the imperious figure of Long Chen, and her eyes were full of worship. That kind of magic power has a great impact on you, but it has little impact on Long Chen. Emo Nian explained. Why is that? This time, even Lu Ziqiang couldn't help asking. If I guess correctly, the magic power in the challenge arena will be calculated according to the individual's ability to kill demons. Emo Nian Dao. Yes, for example, Hu Yifei and I have killed the heavenly saint level monsters, so the threat of the challenge arena will weaken us by 1 point. The more demons we kill, the more we reduce our threat. Do you mean that Long Chen has also killed the heavenly saint level monsters? And more than one? Speaking of this, Lu Ziqiang put her hand over her mouth, and her eyes were full of disbelief. I don't know whether he killed the heavenly saint level demons, but I know that the number of demons he killed can't be counted. He is not affected by the power of the devil. It should be related to this. Emo Nian Dao. In the fairyland, Emo Nian doesn't know, but in the Tianwu continent, Long Chen fought with the demons, and the massacres of the demons can't be counted at all. As for the relationship between the demons and the demons, Emo Nian doesn't understand it, but from the current signs, it should be related to the strong demons killed by dragon dust. Ta-ta! The whole audience was silent, and the footsteps of dragon dust, like rolling thunder, clearly passed into everyone's ears. In the distance, Hu Yifei's face was ferocious. He knew that he had no way back. He stared at Long Chen, and the vision behind him was running wild. Do it quickly. The Shengwei shock is coming to an end. Lu Chengfeng and others are secretly anxious. If Shengwei ends, the advantage of dragon dust will disappear in an instant. Buzz, at this moment, the challenge arena trembled and exploded. Hu Yifei's vision soared instantly, covering most of the challenge arena. At this moment he lost all his bondage. Die for me, all swords in one. Hu Yifei roared and sealed with one hand. In the blood sea vision, a little magic light flowed, and tens of thousands of sharp swords flew out of the vision. Buzz, the 10,000 swords flew out of the vision and instantly merged into one, forming a huge sword. Once the huge sword came out, the divine power radiated throughout the audience, and the vast pressure made people tremble. So strong. It seems that the battle before Hu Yifei didn't cost much. Some people exclaimed that Hu Yifei had used this move before, which directly hurt Lu Ziqiang. Now, his old skills are repeated. The threat of this attack is no weaker than that of the previous one. I don't know whether it is because of the destruction of the boat. The momentum of this attack is stronger than that of the previous one. The huge body of the sword shoots out, carrying the momentum of killing, and stabs the dragon dust. To everyone's surprise, in the face of Hu Yifei's unique strike, Long Qin neither broke out momentum nor summoned a vision. He even didn't stop. With a big hand outstretched, he even grabbed the huge sword with his bare hands. What? Is he crazy? Isn't that too contemptuous? Looking at the action of Long Chen, the players in the field were in an uproar. They even took Hu Yifei's kill move with their bare hands. Boom! In the eyes of countless people, there was a bloody light on the dragon dust's big hand. When the whole big hand was covered by the bloody dragon scale, it just patted on the tip of the huge blade. With a bang, a ripple spread from the dragon dust's big hand to the giant sword. The whole challenge arena trembled, and even the boundary of the challenge arena shook. How is that possible? Hu Yifei looked terrified. Long Qin took his strongest blow with his bare hands. It was useless to use any magic power. It was all by physical force. The strong men in the audience were shocked. They had never seen such a terrible force. Chao Shaoqing, who was full of runes on the challenge arena of Hu Yifei, was shocked at this time. It was obvious that he was shocked by the strike of Long Chen. Long Chen looked at Hu Yifei with a frightened face and said faintly, "In front of the city gate, you competed with me with the power of your soul. You lost a move. At that time, I said that the power of your soul was my weakness. Now, do you understand?" Boom! When Long Chen finished, he suddenly made great efforts, and the huge sword was forcefully pinched and exploded by Long Chen. Tens of thousands of soul swords were turned into powder under the blow of Long Chen. Poof! At the moment when the huge sword was broken, Hu Yifei's blood gushed wildly, then he covered his head and screamed bitterly. Those sharp swords were fed by him with the power of his soul. When the sharp swords burst, his soul was severely damaged at the same time, and his head was torn. Ta-ta! Long Chen kept his pace and walked slowly towards Hu Yifei, saying every word, "Before I die, I'll give you a word." In the face of absolute strength, any so-called scheme is nonsense. At this time, Hu Yifei was delirious with pain. He didn't even know that Long Chen came to him. Long Chen slowly stretched out a finger and pointed it at the center of Hu Yifei's eyebrows. A ray of thunder came out. Poof! The thunder sword pierced Hu Yifei's head, and the scream stopped suddenly. At that moment, the whole world was quiet. Dead. Lu Ziqiang and others opened their mouths. They could not have imagined that they were as powerful as Hu Yifei. In front of Long Chen, they didn't even have the strength to struggle. "Hey, that guy with the same face as a pig's ass, come on up. I said before that I would pull out your teeth one by one." Long Chen stood with his hands held back and looked at Chaos Shaking on the opposite watch table. Seeing that Long Chen challenged Chaos Shaking, the whole audience was in an uproar. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48:38. The audience was shocked when Long Chen killed Hu Yifei. What they were shocked about was not only that Long Chen could kill Hu Yifei, but also the understatement when Long Chen killed Hu Yifei. It felt like killing a chicken. Although Hu Yifei is not the top strong man in the city of subduing demons, he is also a well-known existence among the Tianjiao of the younger generation. However, in front of Long Chen, he had no room to resist. Even the strongest blow was crushed by Long Chen. This shows that the gap between the two is huge. Now, after killing Hu Yifei, Long Chen points the spearhead at Chaos Shaking of the Iron Blood Sect, who is the direct grandson of the Iron Blood Sect leader. He is not only famous, but also has unfathomable strength. Long Chen even challenges him directly. God, he's going to challenge Chao Shaoqing. What exactly is this man from? At this time, people were shocked that the young man in black might have a big background, and it was likely that he was deliberately targeting the Iron Blood Sect. If only Chaos Shaking could fight, then our tickets would be too valuable. Someone shouted excitedly. After watching 2 decisive battles with 1 ticket, they have already made a lot of money. If Chaos Shaking meets the challenge, according to the rules of the challenge arena, they can continue to watch the battle without buying another ticket, which is almost profitable. Call. With a wave of his hand, Long Chen's nameplate flew into the air. However, Long Chen did not know how to start the challenge procedure. The nameplate just floated in the air, nothing unusual. However, it doesn't matter. Long Chen looks at Chaos Shaking coldly. As long as Chaos Shaking confronts him, he will naturally open the nameplate. For a moment, everyone looked at Chaos Shaking. At the Lu family, Lu Ziqiang changed her face and hurriedly read to Mo. Stop him. Chao Shaoqing has ancient demon crocodile blood. His blood-melting skill has been cultivated too. Mo Nian shook his hand and said, You have time to worry about him. It's better to worry about that guy named Chaos Shaking. What? Lu Ziqiang and others all opened their mouths. Although Lu Ziqiang's perception told her that Long Chen and Mo Nian were terrible, she only thought that they were just a little better than her. The reason for inviting the two is to make friends with contemporary heroes. Lu Ziqiang has always lived in the city of subduing demons and has never seen the outside world. However, Long Chen and Mo Nian are from the outside world. Therefore, they want to know about the outside world through personal experience. At the same time, they can talk about immortals, discuss Taoism and learn from each other. However, she didn't expect that she could see that Long Chen was stronger than her. She killed Hu Yifei with a wave of her hand. However, Long Chen challenges Chao Shaoqing, a monster. Mo Nian is still the same as before, making them worry more about Chao Shaoqing. How can they have such confidence in themselves? Help you. Just then, Chao Shaoqing's voice came, and when his voice came out, the whole audience was in an uproar. They were shocked by Chaos Shaking's voice. His voice was like scraping iron. It was hoarse and hard to hear, but his voice was so loud that it seemed to come out of a startling mouth. The whole challenge arena seemed to be his mouth. Buzz, with a wave of Chao Shaoking's big hand, the golden light danced and a golden nameplate flew out. Oh my god, it's a gold medal with 10 stripes. Some people have sharp eyes. At a glance, they can see that there are 10 gold lines on the gold nameplate. Previously, Mo Nian, Hu Yifei and Lu Ziqiang all showed their own gold subduing magic cards. Their subduing magic cards all had a golden grain, while there were 10 on Chaos Shaking's nameplate. He killed 10 heavenly saint-level demons. God, this is a monster. It really deserves to be the top Tianjiao of the Iron Blood Gate. This nameplate alone can scare people to death. That guy in black is finished. Boom. While people were talking about it, the 2 nameplates were pasted together, and then the void trembled. From the 2 nameplates, 2 divine lights were emitted, covering Dragon Dust and Chao Shaoqing respectively. What is this? Mo Nian was stunned when he saw this scene. The nameplate of Hu Yifei and Long Chen had been pasted together before, but there was no such scene? Lu Ziqiang explained, there is too much difference between the 2 nameplate levels. The nebula array needs to evaluate the strength of the 2 people. If there is a big difference in the strength between the 2 people, the duel will not be recognized by the Xingyun array, so it will not be an arena for them to compete. They'll go. It's very humanized. By the way, let me ask, what is the accuracy of this method array? Mo Nian asked. Lu Ziqiang said, this is not very clear. It is said that the evaluation of this array is extremely accurate. Different levels of challenge arena are given according to the different strengths of the duelers. The strength of the challenge arena is just the limit of 2 people. Therefore, the destructive power of 2 people is just within the range of the challenge arena, and rarely damage the challenge arena. Can he see the hidden power of others? Mo Nian asked. Lu Ziqiang and others looked dazed. Obviously, they didn't know much about the Nebula Challenge Arena. On the contrary, they had the impression that there were almost no mistakes in the Nebula Challenge Arena. Lu Ziqiang explained, the Xingyun Challenge Arena is set up according to the sum of the 2 people's forces. For example, when I fight with Hu Yifei, the Challenge Arena accountant calculates that our two strongest forces are superimposed to give the most suitable Challenge Arena. However, Hu Yifei challenged Dragon Dust before. Because the nameplate of Dragon Dust was too weak, the Challenge Arena of Xingyun was not replaced. However, Chao Sheking's nameplate is too strong. Therefore, the Xingyun Challenge Arena should be recalculated to avoid loopholes. It is not clear whether we can peek into the hidden strength of others. Anyway, we can't hide in front of it. Boom! Just then, the void shook, and then an old voice without emotion came. 3 hours after the decisive battle, the 21st Challenge Arena will be held. It's number 21. Hearing the sound, the strong men on the scene burst into flames. The battle between Lu Ziqiang and Hu Yifei was only number 37, but their Challenge Arena was number 21. The higher the number is, the stronger the Challenge Arena will be, and the stronger the strength of those who prove to be fighting will be. God, how strong these two people are. This Challenge Arena is to calculate the sum of two people's strength. Do you think there is a possibility that Chao Shaoqing is too powerful? Do you think that Chao Shaoqing killed the man in black just as he killed Hu Yifei? For a while, countless people talked about it, while Long Chen frowned. He thought the battle would begin immediately. Unexpectedly, he had to change places and wait for 3 hours. All of a sudden, Dragon Chen's body was sent out by the Challenge Arena, and the Xingyun Challenge Arena disappeared. At the moment when the Challenge Arena disappeared, countless people shouted, "It's over. I have to buy a new ticket." For a moment, all the spectators disappeared, and they went to grab the tickets again. However, the news released by the Xingyun Challenge Arena will be known to the whole city. This time, their chance to grab the tickets is very slim. "Thank you." Lu Ziqiang came to Long Chen and gave a deep salute. Her eyes were full of gratitude. Just as Long Chen was about to be polite, the surrounding space was suddenly distorted, and a figure appeared. As soon as that figure appeared, Lu Ziqiang and other Lu family disciples quickly bowed down and saluted. "I have seen the Vice Lord." You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48-39. The visitor was a middle-aged man with elegant face and 3 wisps of long beard. He appeared quietly, which surprised Long Chen and Emon Yen. This is a strong man of heavenly saints, and among the strong men of heavenly saints, he is also a super strong one. He actually suppressed his breath to the extreme. Before he appeared, Dragon Dust and Emon Yen did not have any reaction. After the middle-aged man appeared, he smiled, waved to Lu Ziqiang and others, looked at Long Chen and Emon Yen, and arched his hand slightly. Ziqiang is really ignorant. It's really a slight for the 2 distinguished guests to come without notice. Lu Ziqiang and others were surprised that the middle-aged man was the contemporary leader of the Lu family and the vice leader of the Zichen clan. He was so kind to Long Chen and Emon Yen. Dragon Chen hugged his fist and said, "You are welcome, sir. We are new to the demon-subduing city. Thanks to Miss Lu's admiration, we came to watch a martial arts competition, but we didn't expect to be involved in it. However, in any case, our brother still has to inherit Miss Lu's love. As for the rest, our brother is like a wild crane. Although his brain is not very smart, he can still see something clearly sometimes, so he doesn't like to cause trouble to others. When it comes to observing people and things, Long Chen is strong in this aspect. Moreover, he has experienced too many such things. At first sight, the vice leader was a man of great depth and delicacy in the city. His appearance was by no means accidental. Even when Long Chen and the other 2 clashed with the idiots of the Iron Blood sect, the vice leader had already started to lay out the layout. Through the conflict, the contradiction between Zichen sect and Iron Blood sect was intensified step by step, and then there was a martial arts contest between Luziquang and Huiyai. However, Long Chen could not figure it out. Based on the cultivation of the vice hall leader, it was impossible to see the real strength of Hu Yifei, but he still tacitly agreed that Lu Ziqiang would fight with him, which was tantamount to letting Lu Ziqiang die. Now, he appears here with a light air, just like a nobody. Obviously, he doesn't care about the life and death of Lu Ziqiang at all. Long Chen is a little upset, and directly blocks all the roads behind, so as not to waste his words. Long Chen obviously means that I have nothing to do with the Lu family. I just owe Lu Ziqiang a favor. As for your dirty things, I am too lazy to argue with you. You can't take me as a gun driver. The so-called don't want to cause trouble to others is an irony, which means you don't want to cause trouble to us. The vice leader of the Ziqian clan laughed and said, "What's the trouble? You have come all the way here." Our Ziqian sect is one of the 4 city guards of the demon-subduing city. Naturally, we should give you a warm reception. Otherwise, wouldn't it be a loss of etiquette? If you don't mind, why don't you come to my residence for a chat? The Lord has prepared the banquet. I'm here to treat you. Won't you embarrass me? Hearing that the Lord had prepared a banquet himself, Lu Ziqiang and others were even more shocked. Even they could not easily see the Lord, and the Lord wanted to entertain them. Long Chen and Emon Yen looked at each other. They both thought that the vice leader had a strong psychological quality. Long Chen had already made his words so obvious, but he pretended not to hear it and continued his warm invitation, which was very illustrative. This is a pit of Ziqian sect. You can't jump. Although Long Chen is not afraid of anyone, he doesn't want to be used. Long Chen shook his head and said, "You are so kind. I need to find a place to rest to prepare for Chao Shaoqing. And the place has already been found. The Yuling clan has prepared a banquet before, and I have pushed it away. However, I can't refuse the retreat that the Yuling clan has prepared for me, otherwise it would be too impolite." Yutong and Yufei are obviously not good at lying. They stare at Long Chen. Fortunately, they are not stupid and don't ask what they shouldn't say on the spot. The deputy hall leader of Ziqian clan said with a smile, "Oh, it was the Yuling clan who got there first. Oh, we had prepared the banquet, the retreat, and even the weapons and pills. However, since you have promised the Yuling clan, we can't force others to do it. However, if you have any needs, just let Ziqiang send me a message. I dare not say anything else. As long as I have Ziqian clan, I will never refuse." With that, he turned to Lu Ziqiang and said, "Ziqiang, this is a distinguished guest. He is the youngest dean of Lingshao Academy, the first academy in the world. Don't neglect them. Otherwise, they will laugh at us for not knowing how to treat guests." Lingshao Academy? Although Emon Yen said that it was the first academy in the world, their minds did not turn around, and at that time, Lu Ziqiang's battle had already begun, and their attention was diverted. Lu Ziqiang and others are shocked to hear the words, Lingshao Academy. Although Lingshao Academy has become a legend, as a local strongman, they have never seen this successor. However, whenever it comes to the oldest academy in 9 days and 10 places, it should be recognized by all races that Lingshao Academy is the first. Even the dandy sons such as Lu Qingfeng knew the name of Lingshao Academy, but when they heard the first academy in the world before, they were confused and didn't even think of the name. At the moment, they opened their mouths and looked incredulously at a man of their age, or even younger, who turned out to be the president of the legendary Lingshao Academy. Long Chen shook his head and said, "Elder, I exaggerate that I am just a branch dean, and it is just luck to get the dean's position, which is not worth mentioning. Dean Long Chen is too modest. I heard that Lingshao Academy has won a stronghold this time. It is just around the corner to take root in the emperor." The vice leader of Ziqian clan turned to look at Lu Qingfeng and other humanitarians. "You learn from others. You are younger and stronger than you. I don't know how many times you are. Look at the attitude of others and then look at you." Lu Qingfeng immediately looked ashamed. He thought of all the provocations he had made against Long Chen. At this time, he wanted to find a ground to drill in. Long Chen said before that he could not support 3 moves in his hands with his strength. Before, he was not convinced. Now he understands that the 3 moves are great praise for him. In fact, he cannot support 1 move. Even Luzia's face was burning. Before, like Lu Qingfeng, she didn't think much of them. She thought her sister was making a mountain out of a molehill. Now, in addition to being ashamed, she admires her sister's eyes. "Senior, we." Long Chen pointed to Yutong. The vice leader of Ziqian clan patted his forehead and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm old but I love talking a lot. You can go and ignore me. Ziqiang Ziyu, you accompany Dean Long Chen. If you need anything, please say hello to me at any time. Long Chen wanted to refuse, but looking at Lu Ziqiang's excited face, she finally failed to harden her heart and had to leave with them. Looking at the back of Long Chen and Demon Yen leaving, the smile on the vice leader's face of Zichen's sect gradually disappeared. After a little meditation, he turned and left. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 4840 Lord. In a secret room, the vice leader of Zichen's sect respectfully saluted a man with his back to him. The strong man with his back to him was a huge man. He was obviously sitting, but his height was not much shorter than the standing vice leader of Zichen's sect. The man who sat on the ground with his knees crossed was the contemporary leader of Zichen's sect, Zhao Jianli, who had to shake his feet to subdue the demon city. Zhao Jianli didn't look back, but only spit out a word. His voice was thick, just like the murmur of a giant dragon. If he was an ordinary disciple of the divine realm, his ears would be pierced. I've tried. This dragon dust is very difficult to deal with. It's not easy to fool. I didn't say a lot. He blocked the way back. Even I feel that he has seen through our deployment. I'm afraid he can't be used by our Zichen sect. The vice leader of Zichen clan sighed. You can't even reach him. It seems that this boy is really unusual. No wonder he can become the youngest branch dean of Lingshao Academy. By the way, is there any more detailed information about him? Gao Jinli asked. For the time being, there are only so many. We only know that Long Chen came out of the Nine Heaven Gate and killed countless experts, including Tianjiao of the Tianren family, and even the Human Saint and the Earth Saint. He also had a short fight with the strong of the Tianxing. However, at the critical moment, his father made a move, and Long Chen did not expose all his means. Therefore, it is impossible to determine what level of Tianjiao he is. Zichen sect, vice sect leader. Didn't you see his fight with Hu Yifei with your own eyes? Can't you tell? Zhao Jianli is a little unhappy. Ashamed, this dragon dust is really strong. He hasn't shown his real strength from beginning to end. The only thing that shows is that he has the power of dragon blood and can control the dragon family's magic power, but he can't tell which kind of magic power and which kind of dragon family. The vice leader of Zichen's sect was helpless. It doesn't matter. Chao Shaiking's strength is very good. This Dragon Chen will certainly go all out to fight against him. When the time comes, he will naturally know his strength. But before that, we need to make a choice. What do you think? Gao Jianli finally turned his head. If someone else saw Gao Jianli's face for the first time, they would be scared and scream, because half of Gao Jianli's face had disappeared, with white bones and only one eye shining with frightening brilliance. The vice leader of Zichen's sect carefully said, since the dragon dust can't be used by Zichen's sect, it's better to inform Fantian Dangu as soon as possible. If it's late and someone notifies me first, it can only be regarded as icing on the cake. However, if we do this, we may offend the city leader. You still need to decide this. Gao Jian looked away from a single eye and said coldly, he has been sitting in the position of Xing Wujiang for too long. It's time to let him out. He also knows the attitude of our 4 city guards. The reason why he remained silent was that he had no choice but to give way to us. The question now is who can replace him. Let's arrange someone to do this. Since Long Chen can't be used by us, we'll send a personal message as soon as possible. It is very important for the 4 city guards to have a better chance of winning if they can get the support of Brahma Valley. Okay, I'll arrange it now. Zichen sect, vice sect leader. In addition, inform the top talents in Zhongniai to come out to watch the war, even those who are closed. High Sword leaves the way. Good, the vice leader of Zichen sect said, turned and disappeared. After the vice leader of Zichen sect left, Gao Jianli stood up slowly, half opened his mouth and smiled coldly. The best academy in the world? Are you still immersed in the past glory? It's ridiculous. Brother Longchen, this is the territory of our Feather Spirit clan. Welcome to our Feather Spirit clan. When Longchen Monyen and others came to a high mountain, Yutong changed his previous formality, smiled and made an inviting gesture. Looking forward, Longchen sees a high mountain surrounded by clouds. There are no buildings around. In the dense clouds, you can see towering ancient trees, giant vines like dragons, and a spirit of beauty. In front of the mountain, two giant willows intertwined with each other to form a huge portal. Above the endless willow branches, there were two huge feather arrows hanging. The two feather arrows crossed, giving people a strong sense of oppression. Is there a needle in the hole? If people do not invade me, I will not invade them? Longchen looked at the two feather arrows and couldn't help laughing. Yufei looked at Longchen admiringly and said, "Wow, Brother Longchen is so smart. You can see that you people have become the guardians of dealing people. We are kind to others, but we will never be bullied. Just like cotton, you are gentle to me, and I naturally treat you gently. If you crush it violently, the tip of the needle in the cotton is our weapon of counterattack." Now Yufei and Yutong have become Longchen's little fans. Fortunately, the two sisters are also very enthusiastic about Emon, otherwise Emon will bite Longchen. I'm really lucky to be invited by the Yuling clan to come to the Yuling Holy Mountain. I didn't dare dream about it before. Looking at the mountain in front of her, Lu Ziqiang couldn't help but exclaim. Although the Yuling Holy Mountain is also in the city of subduing demons, it is the holy land of the Yuling family. Foreigners can't get close to it. Even people of the Ziqian clan can't stay here. As Yufei said, although the Yuling people are kind to people, they are not easy to bully. If anyone dares to hurt the Yuling people, they will suffer bloody revenge from the Yuling people. The strong members of the Yuling clan usually hide in the Yuling Holy Mountain. They seldom go out. They are very mysterious. No one wants to provoke them. However, the kindness of the Yuling clan is obvious to all. Usually, some people offend them verbally, and they are not angry. As long as they don't fight with them, there will be no danger. Therefore, in front of the city gate, the disciples of the Iron Blood sect dare to talk dirty. Buzz, when Longchen and others came to the ancient willows in the sky, the two willows suddenly received some kind of induction. Under a slight tremor, the two willows separated slowly. The willow branches drooped, fluttered with the wind, and the Taoist spirit fell. They even looked like they got up to meet each other. "Oh my God, Wei Lu welcomes the guests. Brother Longchen, this is the highest etiquette of our Yuling clan." Yufei Yutong exclaimed in surprise. Even they saw this scene for the first time. Buzz, the willow branches intertwined with each other and the willow leaves overlapped. Unexpectedly, a carpet was interwoven. The magic light rippled and reached the mountains. Although Longchen had seen the world, he was overwhelmed by such a noble way of greeting. "Brother Longchen, Brother Emon and two sisters, please." Yutong smiles like a flower, pulling Longchen and Emon to the front, while Yufei pulls Lu Ziqiang and her sisters to the back. Stepping on the willow leaves, the divine light flows. Longchen feels that his soul has been baptized. The negative emotions accumulated before are slowly washed away, and the whole person becomes relaxed. When walking up the hillside along the willow carpet, a beautiful lady with a long bow and high bun appeared in front of Longchen. "Patriarch." When she saw the beautiful lady, Yutong Yufei hurried to salute. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Calm that you're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.